What is up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of AoS Trash Pandas. I'm one of your hosts, Rob, and with me, as usual, is my co-host, Carson. How's it going, Carson?
It's going pretty well. Just went to Sparkle Party over the weekend, which was a lot of fun. If you didn't see the list review show that we did with John Zoshak of Dimensional Cascade, that was last week. Please go check it out. How are you?
It was so good, by the way. John was awesome. Shout outs to John. He's hilarious. Like, what an entertaining guy. I'm sure he'd be super fun to play a game of Age of Sigmar with, or have across the table. I'm good. That was a weird way of answering it. Yeah. But yeah, I guess we'll kind of get right into it. We're doing a list review show for Pacific Northwest Masters tournament.
North America Masters, not Pacific Northwest.
Oh,
This is the
okay.
So actually, I can do like a little spiel. Actually, yeah, I'll do a little spiel about like what that actually is. Basically, for a very long time now, there's been AoS Worlds, which has been like the European or really worldwide, like Age of Sigmar teams tournament that's been going on. And I guess like one issue is that North America is massive, and to collect one single team for the United States, for instance, is actually a really difficult task. You know, the United States is huge, both geographically and population-wise. So there's the idea to essentially just make it so that there's different regions of not only the US, but also Canada, and hopefully in the future, Mexico, and maybe even South America too. And so that's what this is Wicked Dicey is hosting the very first North America Masters in Boston, which is going to be this weekend. So we're doing the list review for that. I myself am part of the team Pacific Northwest, or Shaman, sorry. Should have been Guyran, but I'm not salty at all about that. Literally reinforced, but that's fine, whatever.
I think I started ranting to you like right away, and you're like, "We've already talked about it." And I'm like,
Yeah,
"But
yeah.
it doesn't make any sense." Yeah.
I think what happened was these were like the original like slicing of the regions essentially, and just all hell broke loose from all of the everyone just bickering about what realm they
Oh,
should be. So
really?
he's like, you know what? I'm not changing it. It's staying this way, which I respect that. That's fair.
I don't, but what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
We
So,
love him
Chris,
anyway.
who even are you? I'm Carson, and this is Rob.
That's true.
And I also have a gift from the meat dimension too. I've got a nice glass of homemade Serbian cherry brandy, which I'm going to be sipping on the entire night. It's very delicious. It doesn't
Man.
smell anything like cough syrup, but it's very good.
I like a good brandy. A long time ago, my next door neighbor who didn't drink gave me like a bottle. I thought it was cheap stuff. It was Napoleon brandy. I thought it was super cheap. And then I tried it and I was like, this is amazing. And then I looked it up and it was like over $100 bottle of brandy, like back in the 2006, 7-ish time. I was going, jeez. Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah.
No, this stuff is it was literally made by my partner's grandparents. So it's
No,
like
I know. I've tried it.
No, this is different. It's a new
Oh,
batch.
this is different. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Because like
cherry instead of walnut.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, I thought it was chestnut for some reason, but yeah, walnut, that brings it back. It's good stuff. Or the other stuff was good. That stuff is probably bad because it's cherries. Anyway, moving right along. So we have a rumor engine this week. We've got a couple of things to talk about before we go through the lists. Do you see the rumor engine?
I did about 5 minutes ago.
Right.
It's 4 minutes after we started the stream, so I haven't had a lot of time to process it, but it looks like some weird combination of like a cotton candy machine and also drill. I have no idea what this is.
Yeah. I'm going to say AdMech for 40K. It's very small because you can see the pigment. I know it's GW paint, but you can you can see this pigment really, like even like the other bits, like where it's not metal pigment, like you can see every brush stroke. So yeah, it's tiny.
Yeah. Some sort of Skaven dentist, maybe.
Ooh, don't get my hopes up. They've already said that. We've seen everything for the year. So anyway,
For AoS, not for Warcry.
that's true. Yeah. So we are hoping, obviously, that this Saturday we're going to see that an Eshin Warcry Warband. I really hope it's what it is. I was talking about it with Jason today. Like it doesn't make any sense to keep the monkey dogs for Night Runners, like unless they have something like this in the chamber. But we'll see. Those old models sure are ugly though, even if they're nostalgic. Anyway, so then next up, I don't know, if I should show the whole video or not. Someone in our local group posted Ash from Gorilla Miniature Gaming's like little, I don't know if that was weird.
Yeah.
Hopefully everything's
Just
okay.
wanted to throw you off there.
Yeah, you did a great job. Congrats. That was awesome.
No worries, I'm here for you. Yeah.
Thank you. Anyway, maybe I'll just play it, and yeah, it's like a minute long. I figured that would get you going. Delicious. And thanks to everyone for joining us, by the way. I'm thrown a little off. We're trying to like get to the list as quickly as possible, but I'm anyway. So here is Ash's little speech about balance.
There's no balancing a miniature game. You will be doing it forever. It is a endless pit. Because the problem is that when you have, I don't know, how many profiles in 10th edition 40k they have for balance? Like 1100 or something crazy like that. When you change something, all that happens is something else becomes the thing that people go to abuse. Something else becomes the best possible option. Because there's too many permutations of what you play for versus what you have. And they're trying to control everything from the terrain setup to the point values to the profiles now. And it's like, that is a money pit, an energy pit, and time pit. Because what are you trying to produce by doing that? You're trying to produce customer satisfaction. Does anyone really think that that's ever a job that gets finished? Do you ever satisfy the people whose actual hobby is to find the next thing to complain about or to abuse? There's no.
So that was it. Carson didn't know exactly. It feels way longer because I just showed it to you beforehand, and then I was watching you like watch it, and I was just like, man, this feels way longer when I can't hear what's going on. And just now too, I was like, I'll probably stop it before the end there, and then I was just like it's so much quicker when I'm actually watching it. I wanted to know what everyone thought of it. Like, I think I partially agree and partially don't. You know what I mean? Like, actual perfect balance akin to something like a video game, or especially like a competitive video game, that's not possible. I don't think anyone thinks it is. Like chess isn't technically balanced. It's crazy. You know what I mean? And that's the exact same thing. It's just not possible. Furthermore, we're playing a dice game. So like that changes stuff as well. But it's more just the idea. I was more interested in what people thought of the idea. Like how focused we want them to be on balance. Like I've seen a lot of people not enjoying 10th edition 40k. And by all reports, it's the most balanced the game has ever been. And
It's also very popular, though. That's another thing to keep in mind.
No, it's
extremely
true.
popular.
But we also have had, and I won't throw them under the bus just in case they don't want this mentioned, but we have some club mates who are not super happy with 4th edition Age of Sigmar. And not that it's particularly balanced right now, but it's like you can clearly see the mission statement of, or like basically their design idea is similar to 40k for AoS. Like there's a lot of like stuff that's carrying over. Anyway, I just thought it was a really interesting idea. I agree with Stark. I think balance is super important. And like, I think the most fun I've had playing Age of Sigmar is 3rd edition. And it was the most balanced we've ever had, but I also don't want them to like get rid of the flavor and the creative fun. But
yeah, it's always kind of a tough trade-off. I think that personally that clip came off as a little bit like throwing the baby out with the bathwater. Like,
I agree.
Why you don't have to completely not focus on balance, right? Like it's possible to be kind of keeping in mind like the theme of things as well as keeping things relatively balanced enough to still be fun. I don't completely fundamentally disagree with it, but I think that it has some, or it's not. I don't really agree with it a lot. I guess it's my final statement on it.
I think we're pretty similar, like if it's just like, balance doesn't matter, then it's like, okay, well, look at fantasy battles. Like that game was crazy imbalanced. And that was like the biggest problem with the game was like, what if you really liked high elves, and you know what I mean? Like you really liked I'm not super into, you know what I mean? Like I hear ogres were like really strong in 8th edition as well, and not fun to play against. You know, again, I don't know. I'm not making any statements, but it's just like, anyway, so moving right along, the win rates were out from Honest Wargamer.
Whoa, what a segue. Whoa.
Yeah. The it was bright too. Thanks to I think Alex who posted this in our local group. It was interesting. We won't go into it very deeply at all. But like, you know, I know a lot of people think that these things are total BS, but you do see like fairly consistent armies in the top and the bottom. Overall, you know, some things are a little different. Like Sylvaneth is way higher now, and I don't think that this is. I'm not sure how they get this, to be honest, and I don't think like you could point at Sylvaneth and kind of go, oh, like stats don't mean anything. You know what I mean? Because like I don't think Sylvaneth are that strong, frankly. You know, or maybe even Daughters, but you can also say like, well, okay, well, Lumineth, Night Haunt, Slaves to Darkness, Gloomspite Gits are always in the top. So I don't know. There's two different ways of looking at it.
Yeah, I think that looking at just like the raw win average is going to be pretty misleading, just because there's a lot of backstory that goes into like each of those numbers. Like for instance, if you look at Stormcast, which is sitting at 45%, Stormcast is the army that probably every person has, like, or everyone has
except
like a
for
friend
you
that
and
has Stormcast. I have Stormcast. I do because I have Eventide. Yeah, I literally do have.
Okay,
Stormcast.
you got it on a technicality. Fair.
Yeah,
that's true.
And because that's the case, you're probably going to have a lot of people that are like, I'm going to go to my first tournament. What am I going to bring? And it's probably going to be the army that you already have a lot of and have like really easy access to. So I could see there being like a lot of pretty new players, like bringing them to tournaments and kind of bringing that win rate down, as well as there's such an oversaturation of like war scrolls in that book that it's not actually easy to come to a conclusion on what to bring unless you already are looking at like the current winning lists, right?
Well, and not only that, but there's some overpowered or very strong units in Stormcast that quickly are nowhere to be found because everyone latches onto them and buys them up. So
yeah, it's also kind of a trap army, I think, just like Skaven, in that they are both starter armies this edition, and neither of them are easy to play. Like I don't think you can show up with a Stormcast list.
Really?
Yeah, I don't think you can show up with a Stormcast list with like all of the basic things and expect to do pretty well. Whereas like, let's take an army like Slaves to Darkness, where the war scrolls are just consistently really good, and their rules are pretty easy to remember as far as their battle traits go.
Yeah.
You can generally expect to do pretty well if you just walk forward on the table, because they're super tough and they hit pretty hard.
Yep.
It's interesting. And then if you see something like Beast of Chaos, I'd be curious to see like what is their sample size for something like that.
Right.
Just because like probably not a lot of people are running them, and I'd imagine the people that are know exactly what they want to do with them. So it could be a little bit that there's like more elite players bringing them, like our Jiwan Noah Singh, or there's a couple other people bringing them to this tournament this weekend that are quite good as well.
Well, who's going to get into them now when they're on their way out the door?
Yeah.
You know? Like I can't even imagine like a GW employee, you know, upon someone sidling up and kind of saying like, oh, I like cows and stuff. You know what I mean? Wouldn't at least tell them like, by the way, this army is going to be gone at this time next year. You won't be able to play it. Like that'd be pretty awful. So yeah. Anyway, but it's just, I honestly, I kind of brought this up mostly as just kind of a joke to throw in there after Ashes thing.
That's fair. Yeah.
So okay, and then I wanted to say one quick thing. You know, like I got on GW's case last week. It was kind of supposed to be a joke and whatever, but I said that like I always, you know, say when they do something good as well, and I meant to bring up a lot of people aren't happy with the Skaven battle tone, and like I'm not super happy with how they didn't come up with a bunch like with creative and new rules and add on to it a bit more. I think they could have done that, even if, you know, whatever, like it doesn't matter. But outside of that, like the lore and like all the little extra bits in that battle tome, mwah, chef's kiss. It has fold out maps. Like this battle tome, like honestly, like it makes me really excited for the future battle tomes in Age of Sigmar, because I think after Stormcast, because I'm pretty sure they're going to get the same treatment that we did, but I think after this is going to be, it's going to get better and better, and these battle tomes are going to be like totally. I'm totally happy with my purchase. And then the other thing too, really quickly, is I didn't say this before, but the models, the kits for Skaven are unbelievable. Like I wasn't super excited by the Galvanier. He was one of the ones I was kind of a little less excited for, because he just looked a little bit plain to me. But then when I had him in my hand, I was blown away by that. And also the kits go together so well. Like the tatters of like even the Clan Rat's cloaks, they're like where they overlap is where the seams are. So you like, there's no like what do you call it? Like mold line type of deals you need to worry about. They're unbelievable. Like these are the best kits they've ever made, in my opinion. Like they go together super well, you know, other than a couple of things. Like I think the Doomflayers, you have to paint them in sub-assemblies, and Vizek, apparently you cannot paint him with his head attached. But other than that, like they all go together great. And yeah, I highly recommend. Oh, Jim, thank you so much for buying some more dice. I sent you a message on Etsy. I wanted to let you know that I sent them out the same day you ordered. But that's it. And if you guys are looking for cool new dice, the dice that the new Skaven dice are incredible. They're super matte and they're beautiful. Okay, now I'm not going to go over to the next slide real quick. So we're getting into this now. We're doing a list review show, right? A couple of pieces of housekeeping. One, actually, maybe you should say it, and I'll take a drink.
What? I don't know what you're leading into.
The shaman lists are not in the.
Oh, correct. Yeah. Okay. So basically, if you've never taken part in a Saga of Dice list review show before, the way that it works is we have like a big wheel that has like everyone in the tournament's name on it. We spin the wheel, we pick at random, because there's just no possible way we can get to everyone's name in one stream. And actually do them justice. We've done that in the past, and it ends up being like, by the time you get to the end, you're just like, anyway, this person's playing OCR Bone Reapers, and it looks like the standard build. Okay, next name. And then we just like go on to the next one. And it's just not, it's not fun for anyone, right?
And also we were doing it alphabetically.
Yeah. So if you had you could just get screwed by that for sure. But anyway, what Rob was saying is basically I intentionally have not put any of the Shaman lists in, which is my own team, just because I took part in creating those lists. So rather than it being me taking a best guess at what the list is going to try to do, I know exactly what it's going to try to do. And I'm basically just telling the internet like what it's supposed to be. And B, we actually went over like half of them last week for Sparkle Party anyway. So other team captains, you can go and look at that video and surf through that if you want to try and get insider info. But I don't think you necessarily need to anyway. But yeah, that's pretty much that. Cool. If we want, we can kind of quickly go through each region, like where they actually are and who the captain is and stuff like that. Or do you just want to get straight into lists?
That's a great idea. I was going to talk about our new rating system.
Right. Let's do that too. And this is specifically for list names.
These are list names. Yes. Yeah. Okay. So maybe first explain the regions, and then.
Sure. Yeah. So as I said before, like North America got split up into different regions, which kind of represents each of the 8 realms. So I'm just going to go from the top. If you look at the roster section, Team Akwashi has, which is going to be Texas, essentially. Texas and the surrounding states is going to be Gavin Grigar for the captain, who is on Team USA. They've got Tom Guan on that team as well. There's a lot of really good players on there. Jeremy Lefebvre, who won LBO recently. What's up?
Do you explain what their region is, like what they're called?
Akwashi. Yeah.
Akwashi. Sorry, if you said it, I'm sorry. I did not hear it. So
nope, it's all good.
I thought that was part of the fun. Yeah.
The next team is going to be Team Azir, which is literally all of Canada except British Columbia. Who the captain is going to be Ridge Hanna, who's also the captain for Team Canada this year as well, co-captain anyway. They've got a lot of great players. A lot of people I've played against and know pretty well. 2 of the members are going to be actually Season of War players, which are going to be Ridge himself and as well as Jordan Duncan. You've got Dom Elson on there who has been in the chat a whole bunch. A bunch of other people too. And then we've got Shimon, which is going to be the Pacific Northwest. So like British Columbia, Washington, Oregon, and I think Idaho as well. But I don't know if we have any representation players wise from there. Sorry. And we've got Matt Beasley is going to be the captain for that team, as well as it's going to have like me and Matthias and Alex Gonzalez, a bunch of other people from this region as well.
Sounds terrible.
Team, yeah, it is terrible. Team GER, which is like Southwest US, i.e., like California, sort of like California, Arizona kind of area. Their captain is Christopher Hernandez, who actually came up to Wet Coast and won the golden ticket there just this past March, which is the tournament that I hosted, which is pretty cool. We've got Aaron Newbaum, who is like, you can't get away from him on Twitter. It feels like he's just like ever present. I know that he's always got like the wildest and like coolest looking outfits out of anyone, which is pretty cool. Ian McAleese, who's going to be the only other ogre player actually who's running Roving Maw, which is kind of cool. I'm the only like vanilla ogre player in the entire tournament, which is really
That's
weird.
crazy.
It makes me question my decision on doing so.
I'm
like, am I stupid? Are they stupid? What's going on? Yeah, that'll be a pretty good team. Tad Baton, who I think won Old Town Throwdown, and then Team Guy Rand, which should have been our team name, but that's fine, whatever. Madigan Mason is going to be the captain for that one, she is very frequently on AoS Coach. I think she's a mod in his Discord as well, and she, I think, was also a TO at Worlds. She's like a rules database. Like, it's crazy how much she knows about everything Age of Sigmar, so it's not surprising that she was the captain. Then some really good players on that team as well. Basil Ferreira, Anthony Trentinelli, and also Dylan Terriel, or Theroux. I don't know how to pronounce that name, but he was at US Open Tacoma. He plays pretty well. Then we've got 3 more teams. We've got Team Hish, which is James O'Brien, who is, I think, the TL for Nova.
Cool.
Fabian Barbus is on that team. Leo Ratonen from Team Finland. Team Shaish, which is basically like the Midwest. That's going to be Michael Roche as the captain there. Keegan Graves, who's Mechrat, the YouTube channel, is going to be on that team as well. Yeah,
I was going to say they're probably like a pretty strong, like I think they got a pretty strong like local scene out there in the Midwest.
Yeah, I mean, I think we'll come to find that every region can scrape together 8 amazing players. So
absolutely.
It's going to be interesting for sure. And then lastly, we've got Team Ulgu, which is going to be the Southeast. So like Georgia, Florida, I want to say as well, but that's where Fred Schmidt's going to be from. The captain's going to be Jacob Berry. Juwan Noah Singh, Mackenzie Ewing. I know a lot of people on this
own
team,
region?
actually. No, it's like Georgia and
that makes sense.
It's like the southeast. Yeah,
southeast. Yeah, I see. I was going to say it'd be weird if just Florida. I was like, come on, guys.
Yeah, just Florida.
Be nice. Cool. That's awesome.
But yeah, that's all the regions, and I think we can, unless anyone has any questions or anything like that, we can start spinning the wheel.
Right before we do that, last time we had John on, TO of Sparkle Party Deathmatch, and we didn't have a rating system, and he was saying like, let's use RuPaul's Drag Races thing.
There was like a show that was reviewing RuPaul's Drag Race.
Oh, that's right. That's
queens.
what it was. That's what it was. You're right. You're absolutely right. And so we were using, it's his tournament. We were using his system, but we had to make our own. So we're going to, we've come up with a couple of names, but this comes from a little bit. It comes from this old website called spill.com. They used to do movie reviews, right? And here's the whole explanation of what the different rating systems mean. But I've got another picture that's you can read a little bit easier. And so originally it started off with, like if it was a movie that you should see in the theater, like the rating system wasn't stars. It wasn't, a percentage or anything like that. It was just like, if you should go see it in the theater, they gave it a full price. If you could, wait a little bit, it's not like you need to see it right away, a matinee. And then if you can wait, if it's not good enough for that, then a rental. And then eventually it expanded out, better than sex. And then below rental was some old bullshit. And then they had later on, they had an FU rating system. Anyway, it was really funny. And I was just like, we need to do our own thing. So we've come up with a preliminary 3. and you guys feel free to let us know what you think. So the like, what last week it was the toot, which was just like it's fine. It's like it's good. It makes the cut, you know.
Yeah.
Kind of like us, you know, on our podcast, the Trash Panda podcast, we make the cut. You know what I mean? It's not something you tell people about, you know, or even you brag about being a fan of. It's just, you know, we're good enough, right, guys? so we're gonna give that the names that are, you know, they're good enough. That's a Trash Panda, okay. And then below that, because there's gonna be a lot of people who don't even think to like come up with a creative or good name for their lists. That's gonna be didn't understand the assignment. And then Carson, you came up with the one that's going to go above, you know, that's basically going to be the boot. Like I always forget.
The shoot. Yeah.
The shoot.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. The
Which
shoot
is going to be 5-0 our hearts, or just 5-0 for
hearts.
short.
Yeah.
So basically it's going to be Trash Panda, mid tier, 5-0 our hearts, high tier, didn't understand the assignment, low tier. And I'm sure there might be more as we go along. If anyone has any suggestions, let us know. And this is again purely the list name. It has nothing to do with the list.
It has nothing to do with the list. Yeah. But we're starting to take the list names too seriously, but it's fun. So yeah. And as Ledivicus said, I was originally saying, Ledivicus to Carson, we need 5, but he was kind of saying, let's start with 3. And then like on spill.com, they'll just kind of naturally, what was I saying? Naturally kind of go out from there and expand, and we'll have kind of different things. Yeah.
Yeah. Also, Ludovicus, I hate that you made me read splooshy toots and steel-toed boots. I don't like that. That sentence is just going to be reverberating through my mind the entire night. Let's start the list review. I got to get away from that before it takes over.
Yeah, and thanks to everyone for joining us. Andy, what's up, man? Thanks for joining us. Everyone was having what was funny is after that talk about balance, there was like a very lively conversation about balance. So I think it's safe to say that it's just pretty important in general. But anyway,
it turns out balancing games matters.
It's true. I mean, it actually is true at the end of the day, and that's kind of why we say don't play games, you know, at the lower points level, because they're inherently imbalanced, and it's just not as much fun because of that. So anyway, I guess I'll just spin the wheel. Oh, someone asked earlier, Carson, who's your favorite? I think they mean which team is your favorite to win.
I saw it, but I was hoping I didn't have to answer that question.
I'm sorry. I'm not really sorry.
I don't know. There's so many teams that I have like, you know, like gamer crushes on some of the members, essentially. Like,
okay. I
think that my favorite team, I'm going to answer it from my favorite team from a personality perspective is probably going to be Team Ulgu. Just because you've got like Fred Schmidt on there, you've got Walter, I'm in a Discord with a lot of these people, and I know a lot of them, and I think that's probably going to be like the funnest team, that I like actually like the most, probably.
Bam.
From
Shots fired.
From like a competitive perspective, it's probably either going to be like Akushi seems like the easy choice because you've got Gavin Grigor and Tom Guan and Jeremy Lefebvre, like a bunch of like just absolute AoS rock stars for sure.
Right.
But that's probably my favorite team from like just a competitive perspective. I think that team's going to murder people.
That's fair. Yep.
Yep.
Tom Guan, anything that Tom Guan is associated with is not a bad pick. Cool. Okay, well, here goes Nerfin. Spinning the wheel. Walter Brock says, love ya.
Love you too, Walter.
Oh, I thought he was talking to me. What?
Oh. No, he loves me.
This is so
Not
awkward.
You.
Jack Kawwood Shayish. So, I forgot to actually pull up the roster.
So this is going to be Midwest. And he's going to be running Daughters of Cain, which is great because both of us are very familiar with that army.
Okay. Yeah, as usual. Everyone seems to run stuff. We always seem to get the one. Okay, actually, first of all, I couldn't find it. There we go. Okay. Daughters of Cain. Yes, my old favorite army that I actually did know this army pretty well in AoS 1 because everyone ran. It was a very popular and powerful army. Jack Cawood, yes. So,
So
I think you know
but
more
yeah,
than I do.
I can kind of take on this one for sure.
Cool.
So the interesting thing here is that he's not running Marathi, so he's not going to have that kind of like unkillable anvil slash hammer that's going to be running around the board for the entire game, and he's leaning purely into just like bodies, and damage output. Because Daughters of Cain actually does a really good job of just like crapping out a lot of damage output, but it's a very glass cannon army for sure. He's gone with the Scaff Coven battle formation, which is basically the unmodified charge roll for a Melusai or Canary unit, which is going to be the Blood Sisters, Blood Stalkers, I think Blood Rack Medusa, and the Melusai Iron Scare. Basically the whole army, actually, now that I look at it.
Okay.
If the unmodified charge roll is an 8+, they have strike first for the rest of the turn. So that's super good. With an army that's going to be like really not wanting to get hit back, the more strike first that you can get, the better. You want to be kind of like messing around with the hit sequencing and stuff like that, because if you're going 1 by 1, chances are if you charge 2 things in, whatever strikes back is going to wipe your second unit, and that's never fun. Something I struggle with ogres sometimes for sure. Then he's got the General's Regiment, which has a Blood Rack Medusa, which has the 7-fold Shadow, which if I'm not mistaken is the teleport. Once per battle, yep. If it's not in combat, you can remove it from the battlefield and set it up more than 9 inches from all enemy units, which is kind of nice. It's just a neat thing to have. He's got the Melusai Iron Scale with the Zealous Order, which I believe affects like rally, if I'm not mistaken.
Interesting.
Yeah, you roll 3 additional dice when you make rally rolls wholly within 12 of that unit, which is pretty nice.
Does that compound with a musician? Yeah, actually, I guess they don't have one, do they?
Oh, well, it depends what it is.
Oh, do some units in Daughters have musicians?
I don't know. Blood Sisters. Let's check.
I don't remember.
Blood Sisters do not.
Right.
And Blood Stalkers.
Sisters. Yeah, I don't think they
also do not. No.
Yeah.
So, but it'll still be +3, so it's gonna be 9, which is really
That's
nice.
Still
and
like, yeah, it's still good. You know.
Yeah, almost all of these things are gonna be health 2, which means that on average you're getting back like 2 or maybe 3 every time you rally, which is just really good. He's got 1 reinforced unit of Bloodstalkers, which is going to be like the shooty bow crit auto wound snakes, which are quite good, and then they crit on 5s if they don't move as well, which is pretty nice. Yeah, basically this is just going to be like all gas, no brakes. Which, speaking of, that's the name of the list, all gas.
Dang it! Why didn't we look at that first? Okay, wait. But
it's nice to have the context of the list. For sure.
That's true. Actually, that's a good point. We can't forget, because anyway, Matthew said also Iron Scale give free rerolls so you can fish for strike first. That's really cool.
That's pretty nice.
Yeah, that's like anyway. Thank you for the context, Matthew. Like, we appreciate that. We are not obviously Daughters of Cain mains.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, this is an interesting list. I think that it's going to be, it's very fast, so it's going to be going pretty hard into some lists that can't really handle that. Also, thank you, Keith, very much.
Thank you so much.
Congratulations to Grandfather's Favorite Nurgling for getting a membership.
That's quite the claim, Grandfather's Favorite Nurgling.
I know.
He's got a lot of them. Thank you again, Keith. That's really kind. Lidivicus, as usual, manages to keep dodging them.
Yeah.
One day.
Also, the interesting thing about fishing for 8+ is, I know that there's been times where, especially in the last edition, where ogres always had +1 to charge. I'd be like, oh, I only rolled a 4 to charge. It's only a 4-inch charge. I'm just gonna re-roll this because like I want to get more, so I can get more charged mortals. And I end up rolling double ones. I'm like, oh god, no. So I'll always be like mentally scarred from doing that. So I don't know that I would ever do that if it mattered a lot. But
I've done the similar thing where I was like re-rolling my Terrorgeist bites, fishing for the 6 mortal wounds, or shot gauntlets for my Storm Fiends and Skaven, and you're looking for those 6s, and then nothing hits, and it's just like, damn it, like that sure did suck. Because on paper, a lot of these things make sense, like the mortal wounds or whatever. But yeah, Yeah, that's definitely true. Actually, Nighthaunt in Age of Sigmar 2 had a thing where if they rolled, I think it was a 10 or more, then they got to fight in the charge phase. At the end of the charge phase, it was really powerful.
Yeah. I guess it is interesting because Daughters of Cain is definitely an army that doesn't want to get bit by sequencing issues, where
Yep.
effectively like they're going in and they'll definitely hit with their first thing, assuming something that they're going into doesn't have strike first or something like that. But the second thing that's going in might just die, as I said before. So they might just hold that second thing just out of combat, decide if I can make this charge on an 8+, then I'll put them in because that way they strike first and I can sequence 2 things in a row. But if I don't make the charge on an 8+, it's not worth putting it in because they're just going to die anyway. That makes a lot of sense, actually.
I think so too. And I was going to say, like, you could keep them 8 inches away. Or
True.
whatever.
Yeah.
And then it's
Yeah,
just
if you're like, the only way that I want this unit to go in is if it's on an 8+.
Yeah.
So,
And I mean, they could, countercharge you or something, and then like, damn it.
yeah.
But then that's 2 CP, which.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of people unless it was like a game-breaking moment, I probably wouldn't countercharge on an 8-inch charge, unless it was like it was going to cost my opponent a lot.
Yeah, like a battle tactic for the game, that kind of thing, or like wipe out a key unit. Like there's a few different things, especially if you're playing against like a non-Anvil type army. But anyway, it's a cool list. It's very different. I like that it's different. Yeah, I'm sure Jack will do quite well with it.
And as for the list name, I'm gonna give this one. I'm gonna give it a Trash Panda. I think
Absolutely,
because it's definitely like makes sense in the context of the list. Doesn't 5-0 my heart, but it's also he understood the assignment for sure.
He did understand the assignment, and that's all we can really ask. I have a name of a list. I'm rolling a couple around in my head, and there's one that I like. My favorite list name that I have is something that most people aren't going to understand. We'll see. Anyway, I'm rolling it. Carson can't hear this. Everyone else can, but yeah. Like we're just dancing to the tick, tick. Michael Caldwell Shaish.
Michael Caldwell Shaish. That's 2 Shaish members so far. Midwest as well.
I know.
Nighthaunt Deathstalkers. One thing to note, if you're confused about the points that you're seeing here, all of these lists are pre-battle scroll. There was a rules lock, which I think was September 7th for this tournament. Just because it's such a big event to organize, they wanted to make sure that people had time to prepare with their lists and whatnot. So that's why you're still going to see like the exact same Nighthaunt lists that have been plaguing us since July. So
right.
Yeah. But yeah, we've got. So this one's going to be a 2-drop. We've got.
That's crazy. Okay.
I
was like, do they have the same last name there for a second? But they don't. I'm just similar start, but it just threw me off. Anyway, sorry. So yeah, Deathstalkers, which is the one that everyone takes, of course. So
running and charging and retreating and charging and running and not taking any mortal wounds or anything like that. It's all the good stuff, which recently got reduced down to you just have to pick one unit to do it instead. But that's not the case for this tournament. And we've got a regiment with Lady Olander, who is just like a really, really solid piece all around. She's bringing the Lord Executioner with her, who has both of the fancy tools that we normally see in a Nighthaunt list. We've got Light Shard in the Harvest Moon and the Rule of the Spectral Hosts, which is basically like a once per game like pop. Yeah. Well, there's that too. You spend a CP and you can bring half a unit back once per game. And then the other thing is a once per game, if it's in combat, it's a pulse of 12 inches plus 1 attack to all Nighthaunt units. Right. And this is just a really standard Nighthaunt list where you've got 10 Hex Wraiths, you've got a unit of 2 Dreadblade Harrows, 2 blocks of 20 Blade Gaze Revenants, which are just going to be absolutely shredding everything. Another block of just 5 Hex Wraiths, which is kind of interesting. And then some Craven Throne Guard, which I think they can shoot things that are not visible to them. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what it is. And the Lord Executioner is pretty cool too, because I think he can be reducing attacks as well, which is really good because Nighthaunt has got ethereal saves, so they're just having your damage output anyway, and if they can reduce attacks on top of that, it's going to be even worse. So Yeah.
It's really good. I'm glad that he's finally good. He was always bad, and it's such an awesome model. He's got 2 awesome models actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Visibly Riley asks, was the new Skaven battle tome from before the lockout? Yeah, this is going to be Index Skaven, just like Mason said in the chat.
It's not really different. Like, it's just, do they get access to the new War Scrolls pretty much?
There's a couple things that changed, the Jezzail's changed and the Arch Warlock. And
that's true.
Yeah.
Everything got worse pretty much, except for, actually, no. Yeah, I was thinking the Pestilence clan is much worse now because now there's no shenanigans. It's just like only if you're in combat. So.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
Still mortal wound piling though, right?
There is, but like before, what people were doing was they were bringing, because it happens at the end. So they were bringing back a unit outside of combat, like next to the gnaw hole, and then piling in to, to like into combat to tag things, grab objectives, all sorts of stuff. So, yeah.
Gotcha.
That was like its main function before. I'm not really a Pestilence guy, so it doesn't really affect me, but yeah.
Yep. Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Next list. Oh, wait. The name.
The name.
So this name looks like it's just simply... Actually, I don't even... Oh, this is Listbot. So there is no name.
Oh.
Didn't understand the assignment. Automatic didn't understand the assignment.
Yeah. Yeah. You gotta manually enter the name.
Yeah.
But
Midwest, your average is not looking good so
nope.
far.
Nope.
Yep. Somewhere in between did not understand the assignment and Trash Panda. It's not a good spot to be. Anyway, next list.
No. I've been there many times myself.
Yeah.
Okay. Spin that wheel. Sheesh. Tom Guan. The infamous
Guamathan. All right.
Guan. Lumineth Realm Lords. Can't they just pick some armies that we know how to play? I mean, I realize that there's only one other Ogres player, so it's a little much to ask.
I know this list well.
Okay, cool. Oh,
I'm
right.
a bad person for running this list, but
And is it Listbot? I don't see a name.
I just see Thomas Guan at the top, which is kind of a flex, to be honest. It's just like, I am the list.
Yeah. What else do you need to know? Yeah, that's fair.
That being said, didn't understand
do better.
the assignment.
Yeah, didn't understand the assignment.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
So this is going to be Lumineth Realm Lords, as we know. Tom has been running his famous Fox list for a little while now. He is taking the Huracan Temple, which is basically the one that allows you to, like, jump, shoot, jump. So he's always opting into that. In his General's Regiment, he's got Severith, Lord of the Seventh Wind, who is just insane. Can't be targeted outside of 9 inches. He kind of gives, like, run and shoot and retreat and shoot and all that sort of stuff to, like, all of the Huracan units, the Wind Chargers and whatnot. Actually, this isn't so much a Fox's list. My bad. This is more of like a Kangaroo's list. So he's got Severith, which is going to be bringing 1 Spirit of the Wind, which is 1 Fox, essentially. And both of those are going to be kind of giving out the run and shoot and run and everything. So basically, he's going to have those and then 2 big blocks of 10 Huracan Wind Chargers, which are just going to be spamming damage 1 attacks that you can't ward, unfortunately. So this is just like going to be a really oppressive, really hard to catch up to list. One of the only ways that you're probably going to be able to catch up to this list is if you double turn him. So you kind of like walk up the board when you go second. Maybe you don't quite get to him, or maybe you do, and then walk up the board again, and then finally get to him. That's one of the ways typically. Also, like there's plenty of like anti. Yeah, exactly. There's a couple other lists that can do like okay into this. Like if you've got any sort of like teleport shoot shenanigans, that's really good. So let's say you've got some long strikes going into them. Let's say maybe if you're playing like Beasts of Chaos or something like that, you're running those Bestigors that have the subtracting either to hit or to wound against shooting attacks.
Wait, can't you move? Doesn't this currently work in the other person's turn as well?
No.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You can't. You can't move in the opponent's.
Nope.
Oh, okay.
No. You might be thinking Dreadblade Heroes where they can teleport in the opponent's movement phase.
That is what I was thinking of, right?
So this this list is basically going to be coming like just into shooting range, shooting you, and they can run and shoot, so they can do that for quite a ways. And then they use that same value to like run, like move back as well.
Uh-huh.
So if you have something like Severith, who I think is moving like 18 inches base or something already, he's just like zoop,
Get outta
boom,
here.
zoop, and then it's just gone. Yeah.
By the way, did something happen with this whole temple in the FAQ?
Mostly a points thing.
Okay.
Like it just doesn't work.
They don't want to
quite-
make the
like,
experience better.
It functionally works the same. Yeah.
God dang it! Come on, man. Okay.
And then so yeah, that's going to be this list mostly. It's just like a lot of harassment. It really wants to go into like spread maps, where ideally it's not going into like a 3 objectives in the center map, because what's going to happen is even if your opponent can't catch you, they're just going to stand on the points and score anyway. And you're like,
And then
well,
you just
that
lose.
sucks.
Right.
Yeah, unless you can shoot through whatever they have, it's going to be rough for you.
Yeah.
It's going
that
to be
makes
real rough.
sense. Mason says apparently there is a monk heavy list in Masters because it's index Skaven. By the way, just to go back to that, so I just think I think that's funny. Like,
Oh, interesting.
his point being that.
Hello?
Sorry, that's a crazy sound. Sorry, I'll be right back. I don't know what's going on. Sorry.
Okay. No worries. I hope everything's okay over there. Sounds terrifying. His other regiment is Elania and Elithor, the Eclipsian War Sages, the twins, which, yeah, are the wizards. They do pretty well. He's got a Venari Bannerblade with the Masterful Tactician and Silver Wand, which I believe gives +1 power level. Basically, it's going to be like a really strong casting list, and it's going to be harassing you from afar. So not a lot of presence on points whatsoever. So it's definitely going to want to go on to like one of those 6 objective maps, or maybe Scorched Earth or something like that. But yeah, is everything okay?
I hope so. There's like I think like some kind of pump for the. It's still making a crazy sound. For our water boiler or something. I'm not sure, and it's making like a really high pitched sound right now.
Huh.
So yeah, I hope
hopefully
it's
it's okay.
okay. Yeah. Oh, can you hear that? I think they can hear it. It's still going. Too.
Oh.
Yeah.
Stream can hear it too. That's a good
my
sign.
Apologies. Yeah. I can close the door. Hope it's not going to die on us. I'm not really sure what to do about it. I'm kind of like nervous about it. Maybe I'll step away. Maybe I'll pull up another list.
Sure.
Cool. So I wish it was a squeaky belt on a washing machine. It's better. That's good. Cody Salts Ogu.
I think that's going to be southeast. Yep.
It's Soulblight Grave Lords.
Soul Black Grave Lords. Death
Okay.
Stench Drove. Okay. Oh, this is an interesting list. Okay.
And it's got a good name.
Wolf Jail. Yeah.
That's pretty
Ooh.
good.
I like that one. I like that
Yeah, I
one
like
a lot.
it too.
This might be my first 5-0, my heart.
Yeah. I feel like
it's like a low 5-0.
yeah,
but
yeah,
it's-
exactly. Yeah.
But it's good. I like it.
Yeah, I think I'll go with that too. It's not chat's fault. That's true. Okay. You talk about this and I'll be right back.
Sure, yeah. I will talk about this. Death Stench Drove is basically like the Pylon Shenanigans one for Deadwalker units. He's going to have... The big thing is he's going to have these 2 big units of Dire Wolves, which I just want to get in your business essentially and die. And then they're going to die, and they're going to come back somewhere on the table that you don't want them to come back. Or they're going to tie you up. That's good too. Just like generally being a nuisance while you have to try and deal with them either by killing them or, going after them somewhere after they've respawned, while he kind of gets closer to you with his actual threat, which is going to be the Grave Guard. Block of 20 Graveguard, which are going to be crit mortals, which is a lot. The Necromancer is going to have the Lash of the Sire, which is going to be just kind of like a within their combat range move D6 in the hero phase. He's also going to have the Orb of Enchantment, which recently got FAQ'd, but now, like as it stands for this tournament, it's actually just like a fight last for an enemy hero anywhere on the board once per battle, which is kind of nuts. It's a thing to keep in mind. So if you didn't know that, now you do. It's really good. He's got a unit of Fellbats just for being objective goobers and coming back and continuing to do that. Then he's got the Summer King's Entourage, which is quite a solid regiment just because Usharan is going to be permanently giving himself +1 attack. The Morbeg Knights in that list are going to be really nice for just being objective grabbers, but also like flank takers, some Crypt Guard just to hang out with Usharan and act as a bit of a screen. Yeah, overall, it's going to be really good. And there's definitely a good reason for why he's bringing Morbid Conjuration. He's got, what, 5 casts in this list, it looks like. I think the Necromancer has 1, if I'm not mistaken. Torgilius has 2. And then Usharan also has 2. So it's really going to be really strong on how many casts it's going to get. So he's going to be spamming all of those manifestations as much as he wants. Yeah, 3 drops, which isn't bad. If anyone's curious what the Death Stench Drove does, this is basically just making time for when Rob comes back. You pick up to 3 friendly Deadwalker units in combat, and then for each target they can make a pylon move, and then they pick an enemy unit that they're in combat with, and on a 2-up they inflict them on a mortal damage equal to the roll. So it's just pinging things for damage constantly, and yeah, it's a very like control list with a couple pretty big hammers. So pretty good.
Awesome. It stopped as soon as I went out there, but I was like, I need to like investigate a little more. I don't know. I don't even know what that box does. I wish I knew, I wish I knew someone who could tell me. But anyway, I'm back. The door is open. So if it happens again, I want to know about it. So yeah, hopefully it's not too annoying. Cool. Yeah. Wolf Jail that's a good name.
Solid name. I like it.
The most important part of the list, obviously, the name. Okay. So Gur, Aaron, Newbaum.
Oh yeah, it's that Twitter fella I was talking about. The fella on X. Beats of Chaos. Cool.
Nice. That's awesome. Jeez. We haven't gotten one like between both of us. We play like quite a few different armies, but
I know how to explain this list fairly well.
Cool. I haven't looked into Beasts of Chaos in all of 4th edition. I have no idea what they do.
Yeah, that's fair. So the Almighty Beast Herd. So first of all, he's 2 drops, and the big thing about Beast of Chaos is that they kind of do the same thing they did last edition, where they come in from board edges. Their entire army can, and then they can kind of like beckon you with like the little. They're not heroic actions anymore. It's just like little pinging you for mortals and stuff like that.
Is it just something? Is it just like a specific action attached to a character, or is it part of their allegiance abilities?
So basically, what you do is it's like the allegiance abilities. It's a battle trait thing.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and you can pick like one of 3 effects, which are usually like, you could add 1 to wound rolls, or you could deal some damage, or what have you, and that sort of thing. And then whenever they come in from a board edge, they're +1 to charge. And then the Almighty Beast Herd is basically, you have +1 to hit against things that are like contesting objectives that you don't control. So cool. It kind of like disincentivizes you from standing on points for too long, unless you have like really good screens or something like that. So that's pretty solid, because then you don't have to spend all that attack if you're like really, it's a go turn and you're like sending everything in.
Right.
And then he's got the Bestial Manifestations, and the one to kind of look out for here is going to be it's like the Taurus one. I can't remember what it's exactly called.
It's called a Ford Taurus.
That's right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
That's great. Thank you. The Wildfire Taurus. Basically what that does is it just does impact. It has the old Ogre Impact Mortal rule, where you just roll the unmodified charge roll and it's 4-up mortals. And if it actually lands any of those mortals, the target has strike last.
Damn.
So yeah, for an army.
What?
Yeah. for an army that really wants to, again, kind of like we were talking about with Daughters of Cain, for an army that really wants to not get hit by sequencing issues, strike
Right.
first, strike last are really powerful tools to have, right?
No kidding.
Because you've got your, oh, it doesn't even have Bulgors. That's interesting. A lot of these lists will have Bulgor, but it looks like he's just running 60 Bestigor, which is a lot. Bestigor are pretty cool. They're basically, it's going to be like, each reinforced unit is a block of 20. They're 2 wounds each on a 4-up save, which is just a lot to chew through already. But they've also got 3 attacks base each, and they're crit 2 hits. So it's just like absolutely spamming damage 1 attacks. And the cool thing is that if they're within 6 inches of a unit that declares all-out defense, they add 1 to their attacks characteristic. That doesn't apply for, like, let's say you're declaring all-out defense.
Is that friendly?
No, enemy.
Enemy? Jeez.
Yeah.
So if they declare all-out defense, then you get better.
No.
Okay.
So what? Kind of. Basically, it's
Okay.
weird how they wrote it because it actually doesn't exactly work. If they declare it in response to that attack sequence does not get +1 attack because in the ruling, when you declare all-out defense is after all of the attacks have been allocated, and you can't go back and reallocate and add 1 to the attacks. Like, it's too late at that point. But if he has 2 units that are close to each other, one swings, and then they declare all-out defense, the next unit that will swing will have +1 to their attacks characteristic.
I see.
So,
but I thought all-out defense got declared when they are chosen to be the target of an attack.
Yes. But basically, when you do that, you're allocating attacks to the unit, and because you've already allocated,
what you're saying. Got it.
Yeah, because you've already allocated those attacks, the allocation step is finished, basically.
Right.
You can't go back, add more to the attacks, and then reallocate, because then it would just create an infinite loop of like, well, I'm not going to all-out defense, and then I'm going to do that, and then
totally
this wouldn't happen, and it just kind of breaks. So I think they need to rewrite that rule, but they probably won't because this book is going to die. So
yep, and they don't care. The main, like, the weird thing too is that they have like really awesome endless spells too, but yeah. Awesome.
Yeah, they're new as well.
Yeah.
And then the Great Bray Shaman.
The Herdstone and the endless spells are new. Nothing else is new in the army, just to be clear.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, there's one guy in the last release, the one little foot hero guy. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. He's also bringing the Cockatrice, which is interesting. He's really trying to lean into fight sequencing. With the Cockatrice last edition, it was basically like on a 4-up, it would deal some mortals, and if they were allocated at strike last, I think. Or no, it was only hit on 6s or something like that. But now it's you pick a visible enemy unit within 12 inches to be the target, roll the dice for each model in the target unit. For each 6, inflict 1 mortal damage to the target. If any damage points are allocated, strike last for the rest of the turn.
That's
a pretty huge range.
150 points?
Yeah, exactly.
That's crazy.
It's definitely better on, like, big units of things.
For sure.
If you're targeting like a monster or something.
You're going to get it against a unit of clan rats, right?
Yeah.
But
or Graveguard or something like that.
Yeah.
Like any sort or other Bestigors, right?
That's true.
So that's pretty spooky.
In the unlikely event that you run into more in this stage, but yeah, totally.
Yeah, exactly. So really what it seems like he's going to be doing is just like overwhelming you with bodies of Bestigors, and not necessarily like slapping you down with super high rend, but it will be rend 2 because of the Herdstone. But it's just going to be like, or multi-damage attacks is what he's not getting. They're all damage 1, but it's going to be like 60 to 80 per unit, with crit 6s, which is pretty crazy. Then the Great Bray Shaman, both of them have the ability to basically pick a Bray Herd unit, which is going to be those Bestigors, and give them run and charge, so that they can be moving 12 inches instead of maybe like 6, I think, is their base instead. Then the Brave Blast Trumpet is basically like I think that is like movement phase 4-up, bring a unit back at half strength kind of thing. I'm pretty sure. And then Death Grip, let me look at what that is again. There's too much lore in here. Death Grip.
Yo, Tom, thanks for joining us. Thanks to all of you for joining us.
Death Grip is going to be, if that once per turn reaction opponent declared a shoot ability that targeted a friendly Beast of Chaos unit, If it's not in combat and it's wholly within 18 of this unit, after the shoot ability is resolved, that friendly unit can move 2d6, can move into combat. So basically, this list is like heavy anti-shooting, just because the Bestigors already have either -1 to hit or it's -1 to wound, against shooting attacks. And so the fact that they can just be moving into combat or just repositioning in general is pretty scary for like a big shooting list to deal with. So
Right.
pretty interesting.
Wow.
I don't even know that this list wants to start off the board a lot of the time, just because you want to be getting that run and charge and just like whipping yourself into combat, which is really good. There's a lot of fight sequencing tools here. It's a neat list. I like it.
Very cool. Yeah, I agree. Best of luck to Aaron. Okay.
Best of luck to Aaron. Roland Dog says, early welcome to Massachusetts,
Wait,
Carson.
was there a name?
Thank you. Best boys.
Best Boys. Trash Panda.
Trash Panda.
Yep.
Yeah.
Solid Trash Panda.
Yeah.
You're one of us. Yeah, actually, thank you, Keith. If you guys are enjoying this show, it'd be great if you subscribed and or hit like button. Pushing buttons is super fun. And thanks for reminding us, Keith, because we are both terrible about bringing that up, aren't we, Carson?
Yes. Also, I want to point out Swaggy Shadow in the chat was the one that taught me about that. Best
Oh,
of War,
cool.
like weird
Oh, that's
all
so
of defense
awesome.
attack sequencing things. So that's actually Michael Roche there. Doxed. Gotcha. Doxed.
No.
But
Whoops.
see ya. Yeah. No hamburger. Thank you, Josh.
Okay. So I think we finally have an army. So it's Jake Seguin, Seguin, and it's Cities of Sigmar.
Yep. Jake was on Team Canada last year. Phenomenal player. Great guy. Famously very nervous as a player as well. So I definitely won't take advantage of that. Definitely not.
What?
Yeah.
Josh, thank you so much. He says no hamburger sticker. That's true.
Not yet.
Not yet. Actually, so Josh, I can't tell you what it is yet, but in the upcoming weeks, I have something really fun planned for the live streams. So be sure to tune in for that. We are planning on doing a live stream next Thursday, but we're not totally sure. But yeah, I should have that surprise ready for then. So yeah.
Nice.
Cool.
Nice.
So yeah, Cities of Sigmar, Ironweld Guild Army. I totally know what that is.
Yeah. Ironweld Guild is you. Oh, is there any name to this list?
No. I'm sad.
Jake.
It's-
Jake.
Yeah.
Did not understand the assignment.
No, he did not.
Yeah. Ironweld Guild Army is you add 3 inches to the range of ranged weapons.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah,
It's like
so-
the big yellers from last edition KB.
Yeah, so the Fusiliers in the list are going to be shooting 27 inches instead.
Jeez.
Wait, is that right? No, wait.
Whoa,
21
I
inches.
hope
good.
not.
Hold on.
I'm assuming they're 18 and they go to 21. No?
Yes, you're right. My bad.
Okay. I was like 27 inches. My God.
Yeah.
They were 24 last edition, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I got. But it is a threat range of 24, just because you can be using your advance information to move them 3 inches while they're still in formation, and then they shoot their 21 inches on top of that. So it is a 24 inch threat range still, which is very far. It's a lot of like rend 1 damage. Like they don't particularly hit or wound super well, but it's in the general's regiment, so presumably what he wants to be doing is targeting other general's regiment units for that +1/+1. He's got 2 units of Wildercorp hunters, which are kind of tactic goobers, but they do actually have some like relatively potent shooting as well. And then we see the actual generals, Callus and Toll's companions, which are going to be deep striking down onto a point and just being like a relatively unmovable anchor, which is really good. He's got a Rune Lord with a reinforced unit of hammers, which are just going to be super tough to crack. The Rune Lord is a priest, which can be giving the -1 to wound prayer. And then the hammerers, not only do they recur, but they're going to be on a 3-up, 5-up most of the time. So it's just going to be 20 wounds on a 3-up, 5-up, and they actually hit pretty hard too.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Those are the old school dwarf models, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
Yep.
I
He's
really
got
like that when people mix their Cities of Sigmar lists. I know it's like it's silly, but like I don't know. I'm a lore guy, I guess. I like all of them. I like pure lists and I like the mix. Like I like them both. So I'm glad that I usually only seem to see the mixed lists, or sorry, the pure lists because of what do you call them, sub allegiances. They tend to inspire that in people. But
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. Also, when I mentioned recursion back then, that was from the Brazier of Holy Flame. That's basically
got it.
You at the end of any turn, you just like return D3 models to an infantry unit, which is pretty good, just because they're on a 3-up, 5-up, and any recursion you can get is great. It can't be in combat, but still pretty good.
It's pretty reasonable, frankly.
Yeah. Yeah. Then he's got the Sorceress, which is going to be unlocking both the Dark Riders and the Executioners. Executioners are just like a really solid unit. That's going to be 20 bodies that have like, I think 2 attacks each, and when they charge, they might get +1 attack. It's either +1 attack or they go to 5s crit instead. And the big thing is that they're crit mortals, and they're just absolutely spamming a crap load of attacks. So on average, it's going to be like 10 to 15 mortal wounds getting through. Maybe more, maybe like 20 or something, now that I think of it, because it's going to be crit 5s +1 attack with the order.
Wow.
Just super solid unit. It can't really take a hit as much. They're 1 wound each on a 4-up save, so they will die for sure. And I don't think they definitely don't have a ward. So those are going to be like, he definitely wants to be hitting first with them.
Right.
But still pretty solid. And then the Dark Riders, let me take a look here. At the end of any turn, you can pick an enemy unit in combat with this unit to be the target. Roll a dice on a 3-up, inflict D3 mortal damage on the target, and then it can immediately use the retreat ability. So they're just kind of hard to pin down, which is pretty nice. And then each reinforced unit is just going to be, of which he's got 1 reinforced and 1 non-reinforced unit. And the 3 wounds each on a 4-up save. So it's going to be like 15 wounds and 30 wounds respectively. So it's something you actually have to keep in mind. And they've got the standard light cavalry, like 12-inch move, +1 damage on the charge. So
I was gonna say,
this list just has like a whole bunch of tools. It's got anvils, it's got hammers, it's got fast hammers, it's got shooting. It's trying to solve a lot of problems. So I would imagine this is like a very defender list that they're going to put down on probably dense maps, just because those Fusiliers want to be not having to spread targets like across 6 different objectives. But
right.
Yeah, it's a solid list. And then the Sorceress has the Master of Ballistics, which I think is +1 to hit and wound when she issues all out attack. If I'm not mistaken here. Let me just take a look. Yeah,
Josh
that's
was
right.
saying. Oh, sorry. Josh was saying for the hammer is 3 to hit, 5 to wound. I think you were saying it's 6, or it's crit mortal wound. So what that is if you roll a 6 to hit, then you get a mortal wound for the damage characteristic, and then it goes to a 5 up, is what you were saying, I believe, right?
No,
Or
the
not for the
hammers I
hammers.
meant was they're on a 3-up save and a 5-up ward.
Oh,
That's what I
5
was
up
saying.
ward, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I couldn't remember. I was like, it was the Executioners that have the crit mortal.
Yeah, exactly. And they can be going down to crit 5s. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So
3 up save, 5 up. Right.
Yeah, and -1 to maybe hit and wound, depending on some things. When you target them, just because there's an officer's order. Yeah, hold the line. So when you give them like the strike last and 5-up ward via an officer's order, if they're dwarves, which the hammerers are, you subtract 1 from hit rolls against them as well. And then there's also a prayer which the Rune Lord can be giving them, which is you subtract 1 from wound rolls that target that unit. So they're -1 to hit and wound, and they have a 3-up save and a 5-up ward, and they recur. So it's just
God
like a
dang.
really difficult to deal with anvil.
That's actually crazy. And then they're 1 wound each.
There are 1 wound each, yeah.
Okay,
So
okay.
it's not a
Well,
lot
that's
of wounds.
something.
It's 20
still
wounds,
not-
but it's still like
20 wounds with a 3
lot.
up, 5 up though that's brutal. And if you and -1 to hit and wound, like you're never removing those things in melee. Like
no. And they're not
without
even bad in combat. Like each one of those dwarves has 2 attacks each. 4s, 3s, Ren 1, 2 damage. So A block
That's
of 20 is
really
going to have
good.
40 attacks at red 1
you
3
know-
damage.
What's kind of funny about these things though too is it's like every list in this tournament is probably going to be like a really strong list. You know what I mean?
Oh, obviously.
You're not going to see you're not going to see a lot of like fun, flavorful. You're not going to maybe see any actually. You know.
Yeah.
It's cool. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, Keith brings up their weakness, which is movement 4, which is not great.
That's true. But they're just one piece of the puzzle in terms of strategy. They're not there to be, he's got Dark Riders. He's got, you know what I mean? Like he's got like something for everything. Like you said, he answers every question that I can think of.
Yeah, Cities very much so seems to play in a way that they're not answering one question extremely well to the sense that they're like countering something, but they have an answer to most questions and they're asking
not a
DPS
skew.
checks. Yeah, exactly. It's not a skew list. It's kind of like it's a very defender list for sure.
Nice. Right. Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
Also, get a better name, Jake. You can do better.
Yep.
I don't want to say I'm disappointed, but I'm just disappointed, frankly.
Yeah, me too.
It's pretty much short trogs, says Ludivicus. Absolutely. Yes, that is correct. People who do good research. Azir Michael Sabetti. And by the way, I just want to take this opportunity to to apologize for any mispronunciations on my part. I'm sure they were there.
Sabetti is ever present in the Team Canada Discord. It'd be cool to meet him in person. I don't know that I actually have yet, which is kind of cool. Fellow Canadian. Actually, I've opened his list and I don't like him anymore. He's running the Fox's list.
Yep, he sure is.
And once again, no list name.
People. Like, I know we just kind of came up with this not very long ago, but you should know better, right? Okay, so obviously an automatic, didn't understand the assignment, and then now commence Carson explaining how awful this person is for taking this.
So you're going to notice some similarities to Tom Guan's list. You see Severith, who's the general. You see another Spirit of the Wind, just to kind of be giving... There's 2 units of reinforced wind chargers. So it very much seems like you have those kind of 4 pieces: Severith, Spirit of the Wind, 2 blocks of 10 wind chargers, just to kind of be like jump, shoot, jump, harassing the entire board. But instead in this list, you see some Sentinels, which are reinforced for even more shooting, a bit of an immobile block of shooting, but it's a ton of shots. And it's actually quite far range, I believe. I think they add 6 to their range in their own turn or something like that. Like it's quite good.
Okay.
And then he's got the Banner Blade with Masterful Tactician and Silver One again. So there's a lot of similarities to Tom Guan's list for sure, except instead of running... What did he trade out? I'm wondering. Because it seems extremely similar, actually. He traded out wind chargers.
I'm assuming there's no...
Oh, no, it is the same. I missed. Tom
it's the
Guan
exact
actually has
same?
Sentinels. He has Sentinels in his list, too.
Oh, okay.
Almost the exact same. The regiments are a little bit different.
Okay.
But, yeah. Almost the same. It's a very solid list, really good. Again, wants to be like a... on spread maps. Not against other shooting armies, preferably. But, yeah. My bad. Same list. We can move on.
Cool. Keith says, feels like Techless and Sentinel spam Mark II. I don't disagree. Yeah. Annoying shooting. I guess it's not like King of Magic or whatever, so that's something. Olgu Mackenzie Ewing, I'm gonna guess. Ulgu.
It's our third
LRL!
list of the night. We could probably be pretty quick about this one. However, he does have a name.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. This is good. This is good. This is pretty good. Because this is a reference to the movie 300. When they were shooting, a bajillion arrows, and then he said he would fight in the shade. Didn't capitalize the S in the title. That's fine. But they understood the assignment. A little bit, yeah. Like, eventually our naming convention will get more granular and whatnot. But for now, I think it's a solid. I would say it's actually an upper trash panda.
Yeah, I would say mid trash panda.
Yeah. Okay.
Personally.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
So like he's like halfway down the garbage can.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm saying like he's near the top. He's picking out the good stuff. You know. Yeah.
Some corn.
Yeah.
You
Like
know.
upper. Yeah. Like chicken bones that aren't fully eaten. You know.
Those are good.
Yeah. Yeah. They really are.
And confirmed. And confirmed. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Like maybe that's where it is. Like this is a trash panda upper can. We could call this like an upper can, mid can for you, and then you know we've seen like one or two lower cans, but
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Okay.
So as far as the actual list goes,
Yeah.
Which
is far less interesting.
Yeah.
Our third
Because
one.
it's almost the
No
exact
offense.
same as,
Yeah. No. I just mean because it's our third one in a row that's very similar.
Yeah, it's very similar. The only thing that's been changed out is he doesn't have the banner blade. So he's essentially foregone having a heroic trait or artifact.
Right.
And instead what he has is Idrilan River Blades, which are definitely a tech piece in and of themselves.
Right.
They have like this combat phase move, essentially, where what they can do is they can roll 2d6, and I think they only have to end in combat, which is pretty interesting. So they kind of get like a free charge in that sense.
Yeah.
Where you're effectively adding like 3 to the charge roll, which is really good. So yeah, it's a solid list. I played on a team with Mackenzie for Release the Beast, and we came second out of like 26 teams, I want to say, which was awesome.
Good for you.
So,
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was me, Fred Schmidt, Mackenzie, Walter Brock, like a bunch of people that we're going to be seeing, and I have already seen tonight. So looking forward to seeing you in person.
Absolutely.
Next.
Okay. And while I'm spinning this wheel, Matthew says, out of professional curiosity, how does one source pristine half-eaten chicken wings? Trade secret, Matthew. I'm sorry. I'd love to tell you.
That, then supply would run dry, you know?
Oh, yeah, that too. Yes, that's true. Juwan Noah Singh Ulgu. Okay, so.
Hold on. Jacob Berry is saying in the chat, Mackenzie actually asked to change his list name to Rock You Like a Huracan. Come on. That would have been an immediate 5-0. Are you kidding me? Like,
yes.
That would have been.
Yes. So
listen,
I don't know
Jacob,
if that changed.
You can promise us all the things in the world, but if they're not actually in BCP, it doesn't matter.
He said it. Carson said it.
Yeah. Anyway, Noah.
Let's
go to Noah's
Noah.
list.
Okay.
Another Team Olgu player. Another
Beast of
Chaos player.
Again. This is nuts. I think I cursed us just by bringing up that we don't. I mean, at least it's Marauding Brayherd, so it's different. Okay. Yeah. Okay. This one's a 5-0. This is a 5-0. Come on.
It was the best of Gores. It was the worst of Gores.
That is godlike. I think that's my favorite one so far.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. That's good.
Play on
this
words.
One's like real solid 5-0.
This is like we might need a new naming convention for me. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Love it.
Okay.
So we're seeing a theme here, which is the Beasts of Chaos are spamming Bestigors. This list has 80 Bestigors instead of 60. However, the manifestation lore is going to be Forbidden Power, which is going to give you access to the bridge, which is kind of nice. You're going to have a teleport across the table.
Even more movement.
Yeah, even more movement. I'm not sure if there's other things in that lore that he wants to get access to as well, aside from just that.
Doesn't the horror gas stop you from using command points? So
I can't remember.
I can't remember either, but then that would theoretically, after you're teleporting and moving around, stop people from repositioning, which seems really strong. By the way, back to the name for a second. It's got a bunch of Bestigors, but it has some Ungors. So the best of Gores, worst of Gores is just like, this thing is hitting on all cylinders. I love it so much. Oh,
yep.
I need a cigarette.
Yeah, this list is generally just going to be a problem for shooting armies,
Right.
and it's like heavy anti-shooting, and it's just a ton of bodies. It's got pretty good recursion with the Brave Blast Trumpet. It's got run and charge with both of the Brave Shamans. It's just it's really solid. It's definitely spam, but it's good spam. It's spam shimmy,
What are you gonna do? Yeah. What are you gonna do with Beasts of Chaos?
Yeah, I like it. Noah's a great player. I think he's gonna do really well with it. So
absolutely.
Hope I don't have to play it.
Yeah. I mean, but be honest, between this and like a Huracan list, you're going,
It depends on the map.
Yeah, fair enough. I don't know.
If the Huracan list wants to go into me on shifting objectives, I'll be like, all right.
That's fair.
Stand here.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's more like just the blue deck kind of nature of Huracan is.
Sure. Yeah.
I like having good games. I like having close games, especially because I'm not playing in a tournament, so it doesn't really matter to me. But, yeah. Anyway.
Stark asks, are lists public in VCP? They sure are. Yep. I'll send you the link to the BCP. Actually, I'll just post it in the Saga of Dice Discord. Speaking of which, go check it out. Go join our Discord. It's in the description. I'm going to post that in the general chat right now.
I'm going to pull up another name.
Yeah. Also, I agree with what Sarah Chris is saying in the chat. I actually wouldn't consider Huracan a blue deck necessarily because they're not control.
They're not controlling, but it's just like, like blue decks stop you from doing what you want to do.
I still don't think it's the same thing.
It's fair. I guess it's more just NPE, general NPE, maybe. And fair. I guess I actually don't mind blue deck. A lot of people don't like blue deck, but yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, absolutely. Horgast is a roll a dice under the number of models you kill to stop command. Right. Okay, that's right. Yeah.
I like what Jacob Berry said. Huracan is blue-red. I think that's
perfect.
Fair.
Yeah, that's fair.
Okay, Jeremy
Lefebvre.
There's a whole lot of consonants in one section there, so I'm sorry,
French.
Jeremy.
There's like 8 letters and you pronounce 2 of them.
What was it again? Jeremy.
Slaanesh.
Oh, cool. Slaanesh. That's awesome.
Slaanesh.
I'm so excited to have something different.
Yeah. Once again, the name is just his name. So, didn't understand the assignment.
Yep.
Same as Mr. Guan, his teammate.
That's true.
4 drops, which is kind of interesting. And then he's running Supreme Cyberites, which is... Battle formation. Supreme Cyberites. Add 3 to the control scores of friendly non-hero Hedonites of Slaanesh units while they're within the combat ranges of any Hedonites of Slaanesh heroes. Okay. Neat.
Oh.
I have a feeling... So what's up?
Before earlier, Horrorghast, Matthew put Horrorghast is roll a dice under the number of models you killed to stop commands. So that's interesting. I didn't remember that. So sorry.
Pretty cool.
Please go on. I didn't want to. Yeah.
I was gonna say Jeremy Lefebvre has like a reputation for making lists that are like the ultimate toolbox army lists.
Okay.
And he rarely leans into like spam and skew. Essentially, he just kind of like outplays people. That's kind of like my vibe that I get from him. I've never personally played him, but my point being, we're going to look at this list and we're going to see a whole lot of different things, and we're probably not going to be able to put the pieces together as well as he had because he has created this list.
That's true.
But it's just something we want to know. It's 4 drops, so it's going to be outdropped by almost everything else in this tournament. He's running Aetherop machineries, which is kind of interesting. It gives him access to the Quicksilver swords, which can be like ignoring wards. Gives him access to the cogs, which can allow him to kind of like reroll charge rolls in a 12-inch aura, as well as instead, if he wants to, he can subtract 1 to hit for like priests and heroes, or sorry, priests and wizards. You basically choose one or the other, which is pretty nice. He's got And then the last thing is going to be the pendulum. And the pendulum's an interesting tech piece because it can be used in your opponent's turn to basically walk into combat and prevent them from charging. So it's just like a big column that you kind of have to know to avoid. So if you're going against him, he sets up that pendulum and it's in the middle of his army. Don't just go charging straight in. You kind of have to like dodge around it a little bit. So it can be a bit of an issue, and it can be a really good pinning piece, which for an army like Slaanesh, which doesn't tend to take a punch very well, any sort of pinning he can be doing is extremely valuable. So just be careful about that. He's got Glutors or Scullion, which it's just a lot of wounds. I think he's -1 to hit base. He does a decent amount of damage. And then I think he's got some auras that he's putting out. I haven't played against Slaanesh as much.
I have never seen Glutos on an actual table before. I've seen plenty of them painted because it's such an original model, like that, like solely unique in its design. Yeah. I hope it's good in this edition, just because it'd be,
He's just a really solid piece. You know, he can hit pretty hard. 8 attacks at rend 1 damage 3 is pretty good.
Damn.
And then he's a double casting wizard. He has a 5-up board, 18 wounds on a 4-up. And then the big thing is that he can pick a friendly Cyberite unit wholly within 12 inches of him, including himself, at the end of any turn and just heal 6. So if you don't kill him, he's going to be recurring really, really well, even if he's in combat. And then the big thing is, he's got his spell, which is going to be like having the move characteristic and run and charge rules on something within 18 inches if he gets it off, which is really good. And then he's also got that kind of like passive buff aura that I was talking about, where he, on battle round 1, he adds 1 to run rolls and charge rolls to friendly Cyberite units. Then the next battle round, it's going to be control scores. Next battle round is going to be +1 to hit. And then the last 4+ battle round is going to be add 1 to the rend of their weapons. So again, just like a really good tech piece, really good buff piece.
And it kind of ramps up as you go along. So.
Yep, exactly. We see that he's got a reinforced unit of Blitzbarb archers, and that's going to be in the general's regiment for that +1/+1. If they're euphoric, they're going to be able to run and charge, which is going to be really nice. And I believe it's either crit auto wound or crit exploding 6s.
I thought it was exploding, but I could be wrong.
If he makes them euphoric, if you makes them euphoric, they get crit 2 hits, and then they can run and shoot or charge, which is really good. Then he's got a whole bunch of Simbaresh twin souls, which I'm not actually sure what they do right now.
I don't even know what they look like.
He's got
Matthew
Sigvald.
sure knows his Slaanesh.
What's up?
Matthew's giving us the deets. We're unfortunately, Matthew, I think you're probably aware, but we're like a minute ahead. So,
right.
But it's good for the people in the chat too, that they can see it, by the time. Yeah.
Simbaresh twin souls are, if they did not charge, subtract 1 from the attack's characteristic of melee weapons used by enemy units while they're in combat with this unit. It looks like he's got 4 units of them. So it seems like what he really wants is he's going to have these list barbs just shredding you from afar. Right. And then as soon as you charge into him, you're going to be probably in contact with at least one of those units of twin souls, which you're going to be -1 attack. So it's actually going to be pretty hard to pick him up after that point.
Oh, it's like the little foot guys.
Yeah.
The twin souls. I didn't know what they look like at all. Like I was like, did I ever even see these models? But yeah. I just didn't remember because I'm a potato.
Yep. And then he's got the Threnody, I don't know how to pronounce that, voice box on the Lord of Pain, which is a once per battle, any combat phase. For the rest of the turn, subtract 1 from the attack's characteristic of melee weapons used by enemy units while they're in combat with this unit. Again, another -1 attack. And I'm willing to bet that other Simbaresh Twin Souls unit is going to have the bodyguard honor guard rule on them, so that they can potentially be getting you to -3 attacks. So Jeremy just
I see. Right. Yeah.
Jeremy just wants to pin you down and pelt you with rocks and hope that you give up. Essentially, that's kind of what this list seems like it's doing.
Totally.
And then he's got he's got Sigvald in the mask, which the mask does that fancy. It can like change where it is on the deployment phase. And then Sigvald has the same like 4-up ward, and his number of attacks is equal to his charge roll type of thing.
Unless you
to a minimum of 5. Yeah.
And he ignores, I think, wards on the charge, if I remember right. Or at least that was what it was in AoS 3.
I don't know. Not sure.
But yeah.
But
Very
yeah.
cool.
Seems
It's
like a
really
scary
nice to
list.
see something different. Like Slaanesh are doing really well, but so it doesn't really surprise me to see them in like a high-end tournament like this, very competitive tournament. But I'm glad to see it. Varieties. It's so much better.
Yeah. Yeah, this seems like a very anti-melee skew build, I think,
Right. Yeah.
where it kind of wants you to charge into it, be minus a million attacks, and then he's just going to be shooting you until you decide to do that. So,
Right.
yeah, it's a neat list.
It is. It's very cool. Best of luck. So next is Joe Cryer, Shaish.
Joe Cryer from the Midwest.
Zeech.
Zinch. I played Joe Cryer Zinch
Okay.
last year in Tacoma.
Joe. The name of the list is just AoS Masters. Now, I get where you're coming from. Okay. It's your list for AoS Masters. And so you put it in there, you named it as such. But you need to do better. Didn't understand the assignment, but glad to see some Zeech on the table. I don't remember what Weird Flame does. When I kind of divorced myself from Zeech. Like, I really like the army, but when I was getting ready to sell off my Zeech, I was just kind of like, I can't look into the rules here because it's just going to make me not want to sell them, and that's not what I need right now. Did y'all know that Joe has an OnlyFans? I didn't.
Post that link in the chat.
don't do that.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
Oh, sorry, my bad.
Yeah.
Discord.
Anyway.
Weird Flame host basically makes it so that when something is burning via Weird Flame, they're -1 to wound as well as
Jeez.
burning.
That's really good.
It is really good.
Wow.
It is really good. He's got 2 drops. He's got Morbid Conjuration because he's Zinch, and he can be guaranteeing some of those really powerful spells like Purple Sun. He's got Kairos Fate Weaver, which is going to be the general, who's got the fancy, I can do a battle tactic twice in one game shtick, which is pretty cool. He's got a Chaos Spawn of Zinch, which he's taken presumably because he's got the Lore of Change, where he wants to turn something into a Spawn of Zinch, and you actually have to take it in your list now, which is kind of weird.
Yeah.
He's got a Changeling in that regiment as well, which I forget exactly what it does. And then the big thing is that he's going to be running a block of 6 Zangor Skyfires, which are just extremely fast. They have D3 damage attacks, and then also they can't be affected by negative modifiers for their shooting, which means if they're counter shooting you, it's just their regular profile, which is quite good.
It's very good. I
Yeah.
assume they don't get mortals anymore. It's just auto wound. Yeah, I see.
Yeah. Then what's up?
They don't benefit from the Weird Flame host though, right?
Nope.
It's just the horrors.
It's just the horrors. Yeah.
Oh,
And I think also the Lord of Change's staff might do it too.
Oh, yeah, maybe.
And also I think there's a spell to do it as well. So there's a couple.
Right. Yeah, that's a good point.
Thank you for your input, Swaggy Shadow. There's a couple things that can do it. He's got the Illusionist and the Nine-Eyed Tome, which I believe -1 to hit him, I think.
Okay.
I can't remember exactly what it is.
Oh, the
Lord of
Nine-Eyed
Change.
Tome? It used to be rerolls, right?
That might be it. Yeah, you might be right.
Yeah.
Kairos, I know, has the same ability where he can basically take the the highest result in a casting roll and just match them, and that's his full casting roll. So it'll
Kairos kept that?
Kairos gets that. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Man.
The Lord of Change does not. The Lord of Change does have you can basically trade a Destiny dice to bring back a demon unit at half strength at some point. So like he's going to be bringing those horrors or that's it actually. Because the Zangor Skyfires are Arcanite. They're not demons.
Right.
And then he's going to be running those blue horrors with brimstone horrors, which have like the most annoying mechanic in the game, I think, in that whenever he's bringing brimstones after you kill blue horrors, he has to resolve them one at a time on a 3+ roll because they have to be resolved one at a time in coherency, So it's just like a complete waste of time, but I guess it's on his clock, so that's up to him. Sure. You do you.
I mean, it's mostly. I don't really feel like that's his fault. Like if you
Not his
like
fault.
okay, just to be clear.
No.
Yeah.
No, I don't think it's his fault at all. I just think that
Yeah.
it's annoying that that's even a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. The artifact is +1 to cast, dispel, and the trait is a 3-inch bubble of -1 to hit. Right. Okay, that's right.
Oh.
Gotcha. So
okay. I
so
guess
it's
that makes
basically
sense
kind of
because
like
they're getting rid of a lot of rerolls in the game in general. So
yeah, exactly. It generally seems like this is a what's it called? This is a like obviously a heavy casting list. It's definitely a castle list where these two birds are going to be sitting behind all the horrors, and then the Skyfires are kind of like just zooping around and harassing you with good shooting. So once you get into the castle, he essentially wants it to be that you're not just going to immediately murder him. So it's going to be trying to stack a lot of debuffs. Weird Flame Host, he wants to be stacking that -1 to wound, and then preferably a bunch of -1 to hit debuffs as well, so that you're going to be on a pretty unfavorable profile into them. So yeah, it's an interesting list.
yeah,
Zeech.
very cool. It's good to see. I mean, I know they're doing well, but like, yeah, again, I just like the variety. Spin that wheel. Yeah. Everyone's being very funny in the chat about some of this too. I can't read all the comments out loud, but I'm enjoying them. Ridge Hannah. Ridge. Right. Friend of the
Captain
channel. Yeah.
Team Azir.
Oh.
Season of War. Oh, thank you, Keith. Oh, who's going to get it?
Oh my goodness. What? Why is it taking so long? This is crazy.
Is it just going to no one?
It's like trying to get to Ledivicus, but it
Yeah,
won't.
he's like wrestling it away from his computer right now.
Like Wonder Woman and bullets. That's crazy. It's still not.
YouTube? Please? That's great. I love when that happens.
I've never seen this before.
Neither have I.
Anywhere.
Neither have I.
Yeah, Ledivicus, I'm waiting. He's had time to actually like react. This is nuts. Thank you so much, Keith. It's very unusual. Okay, sorry. Who is it again? This is just completely
Ridge.
Right. Ridge, of course.
Ridge.
Like the wallet.
That's right.
Cool.
That's what he was named after.
Okay, it's still not happening. Keith, let us know if you like. Maybe it'll tell you or something. We have to wait for like the email or something that Keith gets. Maybe. Jeez. Thank you so much. That was really kind, and it created a weird moment and a funny moment on the stream here. So, yeah. Appreciate it very much. Ridge is playing Squiggleanch, which is so awesome. Lots of squigs. Like, obviously, actually, there's rock guts here too. A lot of rock guts. Oh, congratulations to Lofton.
I was waiting to interrupt you.
They took my money, he says, so it went through. Oh man, that was very. I was kind of like almost nervous because it's like you don't want someone to have a bad experience, with that kind of thing. But yeah. There it is. Ledivicus says, yeah, he knew, Thank you again so much. So Squiggleanch, so +1 attack on the Squig bites on the charge. Yeah, Morbid Conjuration because that makes sense in general. And this is again before the FAQ, so we're not going to see like the nerfs incorporated. So you might see a little bit more Morbid Conjuration than you normally would, or after post nerf. Scragroth the Loon King, which is interesting, after he doesn't have the moon aura effect and whatnot, like he's I think he's kind of hard to justify at his current point amount, but obviously Ridge, really strong player. I mean, I guess he is a double caster, right? So there is that. Did he also lose his +1 to cast?
He did, yeah. And
That's
then he still has his like hold the moon in place, or like
That's true. Controlling the moon is a pretty big deal. That's
yeah,
fair.
well,
Yeah.
especially because like the entire shtick of this army is like, how long can I be in the light of the bad moon?
Yeah.
Just because you want to be
Especially
getting
with
that +1 to save, yeah.
And the Trogoths, it's so important, eh?
Yeah.
Cool. Well, yeah, anyway, so then we got a Squig boss with Nasha Squig to buff the different Squig units that are nearby. 1 unit of Bounders, not reinforced, which is interesting. And then a unit of Squig Herd, Herd reinforced. And then a whole bunch of Trogs. Like, what's interesting is that most of this list is Trogs, right? And yet, there's... he chose the Squigalanche, so that's very interesting. But
Yeah,
18,
I mean, one
18
could argue
Trogs.
that the healing that the Trogs just get in general is enough, just because they're healing at the start of any turn.
Yeah, that's
anyway,
true.
right?
Yep.
So that's pretty solid as is, and then to be able to get what is it like a 25% increase on your attacks with the Squigs every time they charge is pretty incredible, especially because Squigs are like. It's something that I actually kind of fear as an Ogres player, just because I can't. Normally, you charge into chaff, you charge into a hammer. The sequencing goes: you hit the hammer and then you hit the chaff. But
Right.
Squigs might just turn around and be like, "Think so?"
True.
Yeah.
Well, also like, if like the Trogs are a solid anvil, so if you throw one of each into your army, it's like, well, it's an easy choice for them. They go with the Squigs, kill some stuff, and then if you kill them back, then they still might do more damage to you, and then the Trogs you're probably not killing. So yeah, it's a good point. It's just kind of, I don't know, there's like a weird sort of internal imbalance in that there's not that many points of Squigs, and yet the sub-allegiance. But like, there is the other thing that's nice about Trogs, though, in their own subfaction is that, like, they hit, or sorry, like if they're going into multiple units, there's a few different situations where this is true, but like if they hit and then heal, then they're a little bit more likely to have one more Trog there to then heal at the start of the next turn as well. So I don't think either is bad, but absolutely, I mean, Squigs are just pretty terrifying. So yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah.
I mean,
to my recollection, I think that he's not the only Gits player that's running Squigalanche with a similar spread of stuff too.
Interesting.
So maybe there's just something they see that we don't, or maybe in practice it's just like it does end up being better, and they don't really miss the healing as much. I don't know. It could be anything.
I think that's probably. I mean, because like, how many wounds can you heal before they're at full wounds anyway? So like that's another way of kind of looking at it. Like maybe they're just noticing that, like, like they've got 5 wounds total, right? So if they lose all 5 wounds, right, then you're not seeing any value out of that, right? If you see if they only lose 1 wound, then you're still not seeing any value out of that. So it's really only if they've taken like 4 wounds on the nose. So maybe it's just like an internal sort of calculation on that. And this is also before Trogoths went up. So this list is kind of more is only feasible right now anyway, but I don't know. Yeah.
Is
That's
the National
true.
Squig the one that gives the crit mortals to Squigs as well?
It was before in 3. Because Kenrick joined the channel, I just haven't really been playing Gloomspite Git since then. But that it is what it used to be. It used to be give the crits mortal. I think it still is. I'm pretty sure.
I mean, if that's the case, you hit that unit of 20 with a crit mortal, an extra attack essentially translates to like 4 or 5, or no, 3 or 4 mortal wounds extra on the attack for that Squig unit, which is quite significant.
It's true.
If you're going against something that's got like a really high quality save and health characteristic or something like that, then pretty solid. I can see why they would do something like that.
I like it. That's true. Squigs are awesome. I should run a Squig army eventually at some point. Just like all Squigs. Maybe if Mangler squigs are ever not terrible. That'd be cool.
Look who's asking for the moon.
I know. I mean, I did it last time with spiders and it didn't work, so.
I forgot to do the name.
Oh, no. Was there a name?
Yep.
What was the name?
The name was Wish This Was Skaven.
God dang it. Well, an automatic 5-0 in my heart.
I gotta give it a Trash Panda because I don't have the same bias that Rob does towards Skaven.
That's fair. But yeah, you know what? Ridge is just a good guy. I'm going to have to send him a Christmas card this year. Hish Fabian Barbus, I'm going to say. Yeah.
Yep. Fabian's been on the channel before. He's playing Soulblight. I've actually played against this list already. It's very good.
Soulblight, right.
Yep. He is going to be running Death March, which is not the same as the Pile-in D3 Mortal sub-faction, I believe. Death March is add 1 to the Ren characteristic of melee weapons used by friendly Death Rattle units that charge on the same turn for attacks that target a unit that has fewer models than the attacking unit. So that means that if the Dire Wolves... Oh no, those are... Are Dire Wolves Death Rattle? Definitely the Graveguard are.
They are, yeah. Oh, no, they're not. They're the zombie type, whatever that is.
Deadwalkers, yeah.
Deadwalker.
So basically, if the Graveguard charge you, or the Black Knights charge you, they're going to be +1 rend because they're probably going to be outnumbering you, which is pretty nice. He's also going to be running Aether Rot Machineries, presumably just because there's a 2 manifestation limit per team. You can only duplicate it twice. Aether Rot Machineries, again, is another techie piece. He's going to be using that Pendulum just to kind of like pin you in combat, which is really good. He actually has multiple ways of doing that in this list, just because if you see Manfred has that ability of wholly within 12 of him, when something redeploys, they can actually redeploy into combat, which means he's going to have like a big row of dogs around Manfred. They're going to redeploy, and then they're just going to go boop and just barely touch you, get into combat, and it's going to suck, which effectively means the only real safe way to go in and charge this list is if you're doing it at like such drastically different angles that you don't care which side necessarily gets in,
Right.
or if you're something like Night Haunt, where you can just charge in combat anyway. This list has a pretty big problem with that. So this, and he's also got the Lash of the Sire on the Necromancer and the Orb of Enchantment, which, like I said, Lash of the Sire is just a D6-inch move in the hero phase, and then the Orb of Enchantment is, at the time of us submitting these lists, board-wide strike blast on any enemy hero once per game, which is quite good. You don't have to be in combat with them. And then he's got 2 units of reinforced Graveguards, some Dire Wolves that he would be delighted if you killed, some Fellbats, which are going to be Tactic Goobers, and then a unit of Black Knights, which really wants to be good on the charge, because they got that +1 damage. So
does Torgilius still hand out the 5-up ward in a bubble? I'm still seeing him again.
I think so. I think he does to Death Rattle.
Oh, to Death Rattle, huh?
Or maybe, let's see.
Or no, it make
No,
sense
it's
if
Grave. So what it is that Graveguard give the heroes 5-up wards as well as themselves when they're within 3 inches of them.
Oh.
Yeah. Which is why he really wants to be castled up. I think
what
it's
does
specifically
Torgilius do?
Torgilius is he can Deathly Invocation twice. So
Oh, okay.
yeah. Or
Fair
rather,
enough.
he can use it against you just get extra recursion. So those
Very,
Graveguard-
very different sort of style from before. That's interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, he can be bringing back like 6 Graveguard in 1 turn, which is really good. You know, because they're going to be on like a 4-up, 5-up ward. Returning 6 every single turn, which is really good. Just super solid. And then he's also got a shooting attack, which is like it's no slouch. You know, it's 2d6 attacks, which is really swingy, but it's Ren 1 damage D3. So you can actually hit stuff.
True. Keith says Soulblight has so many named heroes. What are they, Ultramarines? Yeah, that's sort of the board game. Curse City really, because they're all Virkos. Well, except for the ones that have been around forever. But actually, no, there's a couple of new ones. There's the Snake Lady who came out at the end of 3rd. She's cool. She's Legion of Blood. So there's that. Anyway, yeah, very cool list. Absolute best of luck to him. I know Soulblight aren't hurting right now, but I don't know. I felt like I haven't seen a Soulblight list in a little while, so it was nice. It's a nice little change.
Palate cleanser.
Yeah, exactly. Like an old bone you just kind of gnaw on in between. Nicholas True, Shaish.
Shaish, Realm of Death.
Goes into
Which is very fitting for the Midwest. Nicholas True, Slaves to Darkness.
That's true. Okay, Slaves. This is a pretty. Oh, by the way, the last one didn't have a name, I think, right?
Fabian.
I think I looked at it.
Fabian. It was just Fabian Barbouz again.
Okay, that's what I thought. And this one is just Slaves to Darkness. It's simple, but it did not understand.
Yeah.
They did not understand the assignment. So.
Did not understand the assignment. That's right. Had too much brandy.
That's awesome.
I'm out of brandy. It smells really good still though. Slaves to Darkness, God's Wrath Warband. Again, no names. Circus is saying from a names perspective, Olgu clears. I don't know what that means.
Yeah, I don't know either. I'm so sorry.
Does that mean Olgu's good? Let me just take a look at some of them. Yeah, they all have names actually. There's a little special thing at the end where we should go through all the Olgu names.
I'm down for
look
that.
At them. Yeah,
we'll
take a look there. Once again, that's why they're my favorite team personality-wise, because they understood the assignment. Okay,
that's so true.
All of them
That's
did.
so true. I hope your team all has names.
Mine does.
Okay. No, your does, but does your team's?
Let me take a look. One sec.
Okay. While he's doing that, I'll stare at the screen. Oh, don't.
Yeah.
Please tell me it wasn't Matthias.
Wait a minute.
Does Matthias have a name?
Hold on.
If Matthias
Our names are at the top.
Usually.
Some of us have names.
Okay.
Yeah.
Matthias has a name, right?
Matthias. Yeah, it does. It's the same as last time, though. It's like Slabes.
No,
Remember?
okay. As long as he has a name, I don't expect him to literally have, 2 names in 2 weeks. I think that's a little too much to ask.
Yeah,
He's
like
playing the
he
same
said.
list.
Yeah, Alex, I see you in chat. Alex, there he is. You did not add one. Did not understand the assignment. Once again, I put a lot of thought into my name, okay? Because I knew we were going to Boston. I like ska. I'm a meat-themed ogre's army. Therefore, the meaty boss tones.
He really does
it
like
just
ska.
works, okay? It just works.
Man. Yeah. Okay. So this is Slaves to Darkness. This is still, unfortunately, in your wheelhouse. I'm sorry.
I don't even want to read it. It doesn't have a name.
That's true. I don't blame you.
I'll read it. It's,
There's so many low-hanging... Okay, sorry.
Yeah. It's God's Wrath Warband, which is he can defile objectives, which just does damage to you if you stand on them.
Right.
He's just pooping all over all the objectives, being really inconsiderate. He's got Mr. Liqueur, the Dark Master, who is just an all-around really good piece. He, in the opponent's turn, can be handing out strikes first, which is really nice on 4-ups. It's a 1-drop, I think, which is awesome. He's got 2 units of 6 Varangard, which are just terrifying. Both Khorne, so on the charge, they're 4 attacks each at damage 3 flat. Real good. Unit of Chaos Knights that are Nurgle, and then 6 Chaos Fury. So this is a really lean list that is not going to like going on spread maps, for sure. But if it goes into another melee army, it's going to slap him pretty hard. And Be'lakor is going to be there to shut down 1 hammer once per game, which is pretty nice. So, yeah, it's a simple list, but it's effective. So,
to be honest, this is the kind of list I would like to run. I think it looks a lot of fun. It's simple, fast, hits hard. It's very Timmy, and it has Be'lakor, which is one of the coolest models ever.
Yeah.
Doesn't have a name.
Also, Leviticus asks, let's
I
give
saw
Rob...
that.
Okay.
Dang it.
If you were going, what would your list be named?
Okay.
We'll assume you're running Skaven.
I was telling Carson before the show started, I have a name of a list. that I really like that no one's going to understand. So, like, I made a Verminous list with a lot of bodies. Okay. And the name of the list is The Secret of Nymphs. So, see, but like now if I have to explain it, it's not very good, right? But Verminous has a lot of bodies, right? And so to make a lot of children, you have to do a lot of something else, right? Okay. And so they like love. So now the secret of Nim is it's a children's movie about rats. So when you explain a joke, it really isn't very funny.
No, I appreciate it because I didn't get it at first, and now that makes sense.
Yeah,
I would. That's like it's a high trash panda.
I'll take that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can do better. I can do better. Like
Bryce is like, what do you have to do? What do you have to do to make kids? What do you mean? He doesn't know. You got to explain.
Yeah, paperwork. Yeah,
that's right.
That's
a lot
not
of
wrong.
paperwork.
Yeah, there's a lot of paperwork even if you don't adopt. Actually, every school year there's a whole like, I don't. Anyway, I'll stop.
Yeah. One note.
Ludivicus did get it though. By the way, I just want to point out that Ludivicus did get it. He put The Secret of Nim, but it's like nymph. Yeah, like you like, you know. Yeah.
Yep. Tom B in the chat. I just want to let you know that this event is playing with the old Battle Scroll rules. So the reason why you might see some lists that are overpointed as of now are just because the rules lock was actually September 7th for this tournament, just because we needed a lot of time to prepare.
Wow.
So you might need, it was an entire month before. So you might see like a couple not correct things or things that are bad that people are taking as of now. And
Sorry, god dang, that's awesome. Ludivicus says, I'll play Rob's list too and sequel it with Fievel Ghost Breast. That's godlike. Oh my god. You and me, Ludivicus.
Next list.
Okay. I've never seen a picture of Ludivicus, but I have to feel like he looks like my brother. You know? Okay. From another mother. The wheel is currently spinning.
Now's a good time if you haven't already. Like and subscribe. Check out our Discord.
Yes. Thank you.
And say nice things to us in the chat. Otherwise, we will cry.
That's true. Yeah. Unless Carson is going into a tournament and then you need to say mean things to him.
Correct.
And like, that's not a joke, by the way. Well, it is kind of, your whole personality is a joke, but like that specific statement is, sorry. You're going into a tournament. I'm supposed to be mean. Exactly. See, he gets it. I actually sent you a thing like before you went into the last tournament. I was like, remember for this tournament, you're a piece of crap or something like that. And then you just hearted it. Like there's no explanation needed. And Jim said Jenner is the reason I love Skaven. I've told this story before, Jim, but I don't know if the reason I love Skaven is because the first novel I read was The Secret of Nim in grade 1, or like, I don't know where it starts. It's like a chicken or the egg thing with me, but yeah. Anyway, like, do I like Skaven because I like that novel or, you know, anyway. Okay. Christopher Gropp. I can't remember if I said it or not. Ulgu. At least we'll get to show the name.
True.
Slaves to Darkness. What's that?
Does have a name.
Okay. Thank you. Oh, didn't you say that all the Ulgu ones have a name?
Do.
Okay.
They do. Yeah. Which we appreciate very much. Thank you, Ulgu.
Thank you, Ulgu.
So the list name is Field Trip for the Grandkids.
Okay. I think we need to read the list.
There's a Full Goth Shudderhead. There's a Regiment Renowned in here. So that kind of explains it a little bit.
Okay. Well, you know? also like there's a Nurgle theme to a lot of it. So grandfather's, children or whatever.
Yep.
Yeah.
This
I like
one's
it.
This one's a solid trash panda, I think.
Solid. Yeah.
Yeah.
The-
It meets
I think this is
expectations.
upper can or mid can.
I think this is mid can for me, but
Mid
you're
can.
welcome to.
I think so. Yeah. No, I think so too. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's like
The maggots have started coming, and they're
they're not there yet. Yeah. It's like like lettuce that you couldn't finish, a little bit off. You know what I mean?
yeah, they're definitely
bits of
mid
lemon.
can. Just
Yeah.
like some kale, maybe.
Yeah, rinds. A lot of
Yep.
rinds in there. Yeah, that makes
Yeah.
sense.
But we like
There's
rind.
no banana peels. No, yeah.
Oh, no,
Yeah,
fancy
yeah.
business like that. No.
Fancy business. I thought the banana peels were on the bottom.
You don't understand.
Apparently, I don't. What's in the bottom of the can, Carson? What's
Just
in the
like-
bottom of the can?
Just garbage juice. Just like
Oh,
awful.
yeah.
Like it's just what everything else has become.
Right, like
Just
that
sludge.
that package of chicken that you forgot to eat before the expiration date, and then it's been like a week and a half since garbage day. Yeah,
Yeah.
that kind of thing. Okay.
Just sun roasted garbage juice. That's it.
So fine. The banana peel is mid can. That's not going to be an upper can.
All right.
Banana peel?
Fine.
Okay. Now that we've settled that very important topic, onto the list.
Yeah, he's playing Slaves to Darkness, whatever. Okay, next list.
Yeah. Next, bye.
Yeah.
This
It was
is
actually
different,
it's
though.
quite similar to the last list. Well, actually, it's not
Oh.
that similar. It's got Be'lakor. Instead of having 2 blocks of 6 Vanguard, it's 2
We
blocks
both
of
started
3.
the opposite, and then we both started to go back. Like, oh yeah, I'm starting to see the similarities. And you're like, oh yeah, it's actually quite different.
Yeah. Well, the big thing is that he's got some Nurgle warriors, which is kind of neat. They're going to be standing on a point, having fun, being tanky, and then it generally seems like this list wants to just sit on points and not die because
Right.
Full Goth Shudderhood is just they're Nurgle units, so they're already going to have their 5-up ward. They're going to have a lot of wounds, and then anything within 9 inches of Full Goth Shudderhood is going to be -1 to hit. I don't think it applies to the Chaos Warriors, if I'm not mistaken. I think it specifically says units in this regiment renown are -1 to hit while they're wholly within 9 inches of Full Goth, or the Harbinger of Decay, sorry. So it's just, this really wants to be like a dense defender, it feels like. And then it also has access to some pretty potent hammers in the form of those 2 Vanguard units, which are going to kind of be coming around and smacking something pretty hard. So while you're distracted with the warriors and the regiment around, those Vanguard are going to be coming to slap you.
Right.
And then it's also got some Chaos Furies for being tactic goobers. Almost nothing else in the general's regiment, because I suspect that he's a little bit like weary of being shot
Right.
at +1/+1, just because the -1 to hit doesn't apply to shooting. So
And also, this is before the nerf to the range of that
Yeah,
ability.
exactly.
So, yeah.
yeah, and then Be'lakor is going to be handing out strike first in the opponent's turn, and also shutting off a unit once per battle, which is pretty good. So
Sorry,
Yeah.
the chat. I'm sorry. The chat was being funny. I couldn't. Ludivicus says Carson might need to have his trash taken out a touch more often. Garbage juice. I gagged a little. That was definitely his intention. And then Bear immediately says afterwards, bottom of the trash has the sweet nectar of the gods.
found the Nurgle player.
Yeah, we found the Nurgle player. My God. And also, by the way, Sigmar or Scotty said earlier, Rob, way to age yourself, dude. The ship has sailed on that so long ago. Like, yeah, I talked about playing Skaven when they originally released. Okay. Are we good for this? Cool. Okay. So we'll spin that wheel. Okay. Gavin Grigar, Aquashy.
Mr. Team America himself. Gavin.
Oh, good old Titsnitch. Loves it.
Oh, interesting. I didn't think you'd be playing that. Oh god, he's
Okay.
playing at something else.
Most importantly, Gavin Gregar put captain after his name, but no name of the list. Gavin. Yeah. That is... Didn't understand the assignment, and yet somehow the bottom of the can at the same time. You need to do better. Okay. Moving right along. By the way, we are joking about, like, a lot of my silly rant last week kind of got, the intention of it kind of got lost. I'm a little bit worried that our silliness is maybe not coming across. These are not actual shots at people or their list names. We're just having fun. But
Oh, they're real shots at people.
that's true. That's true. I
And you
take
can
all
see
that
me
back.
this weekend about these list names. Okay? Okay, Gavin? Also, by the way, Gavin, it's not Screeching Warflock. That is the ability title. It's actually Zangor Coven, which is what it's supposed to be. So I don't think this list is even valid, Gavin, to be honest.
I'm
I
going to
don't
have
think
to
that-
agree with my friend here.
Yeah. I don't see Zangor Coven anywhere in here. Which means, did you pick a subfaction, Gavin? I don't think so. Just like you didn't pick a name for your list. Anyway,
Tell the man.
Morbid Conjuration. He's got 2 drops, one of which is Kairos Faith Weaver. He's got that Chaos Spawn, because he has to. Changeling, Zangor Enlightened. Got the reinforced block of Skyfires, as we saw before. And then he's got another regiment, which is a Zangor Shaman with the Nexus of Fate and Nine-Eyed Tome. And then 2 big blocks of reinforced Zangors. And then 1 block of non-reinforced Zangors. Is the Lore of Change the one that gives you access to a teleport? Let me check.
I was
Lore of
trying to
Lore of
type
Change.
a heart. I thought it would automatically correct like it does on Twitch, but it does not.
So the interesting thing with this list is that Lore of Change gives you access to Fold Reality, the spell. And what that spell does for you is you can pick up a unit and then set it up more than 9 inches away from all enemy units, which is really nice. And because you're Tzeentch, you get access to your Destiny dice, which means you can just auto-charge 12 if you have 2 6s in your Destiny dice, which is really nice. So you can take that block of 20 Zangors, which tends to be pretty good. They're not like a crazy hammer, but it's just really difficult to deal with. Teleport them outside of 9 or something and just zoop, auto-charge them in. Just a really solid thing to be able to do. So he's probably going to be doing that quite a bit. And it doesn't really require any like special rolls to go off either. Because chances are Kairos is going to get that spell off. And he's going to have some auto charges in his Destiny dice. So, yeah,
Right.
kind of a scary list.
Very cool. Does Kairos still... Does he allow you to add Destiny dice back again? Is there a way to get Destiny dice back again?
There might be a spell.
Yeah, I think there was a spell. I think that's right.
I know that the Lord of Change allowed you to reroll a Destiny
Oh.
dice,
Cool.
but let me check Kairos.
That's fun. Future Rob, 6 months from now, trying to make a serious point about something. Why is nobody taking me seriously? Yeah, most people know you really don't want to most of the time. Carson's trash talking all these Americans and then will show up all sweet and like, hi guys, love you all, and hope he doesn't wake up in an alley. He doesn't need both his kidneys. Whatever.
So the Nexus of Fate, which he's taken on as Zangor Shaman, basically allows him to reroll one of his Destiny dice every hero phase.
That's pretty
But
awesome.
I don't see ways of getting more Destiny dice.
There's nothing in the spell lore, huh?
Unless I'm sure there might be something, but it's
They have 2 lores as well, right?
yeah, but the one that he picked, I don't think gives you access to
Oh, right.
doing that.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I unfortunately am on the app. It's not the fastest. Oh, yeah. Wait, what? Tzeentch. Oh, it's Disciples of Tzeentch. That's why. Yeah, spell lores. He has what? He has lore of change.
Lore of Change. Yeah. No, I don't think he has ways of getting Destiny dice back.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's Glimpse the Future, which is in Lore of Fate. Is the name of the spell.
Yeah. I think that's
Huh.
okay. Just because how many turns do you want to be setting up those 12-inch charges, right?
Yeah, no, it's not like it wasn't. I wasn't thinking that, but it's like if you don't, like what if you don't roll any sixes? On 9 dice, you're on average.
Yeah, but then
gonna
he
get
gets to
one.
re-roll some with his
Yeah,
heroic
no,
trait.
totally. Like I did arrive there too. I like I. It's not strategic, but I just like Destiny dice. I just like how they function. I think it's like the funnest part of the army. So I wouldn't be able to help myself, I think, from leaning into Lore of Fate. But
Yeah. No, it's an interesting army, and I think it's going to be really strong. He's a really strong player, so I see why he took it.
that makes sense. But he needs to name his lists.
That's
Moving right
true.
along. Yep. I'm not lying. Thank you, Matthew. Yeah, sorry, we didn't because of the delay. We got Keegan Graves, Shaish.
This is Mechrat,
Sheesh. Oh, sweet.
and he's playing Skaven.
Yeah, baby.
And this is the
Okay.
Plague Monks build. Why don't you talk about this list?
Nice. Sure. Okay. Okay, one second. Why am I not seeing it? Oh, I didn't keep typing the word. I guess that's why. Do. Oh, there it is. Okay. I don't know why. I just could not see the list. Okay. So, wait, what? What is this? It says Keegan Gray's 51% win rate. Is that what is that? Is it like his? Oh, that's his club. I was going to say that's like a pretty good. It's a pretty good nickname. So the name of the list is Skaven Culmination. Mid can?
Lower can.
Lower
Sorry,
can.
Keegan.
Shots
Yeah.
fired.
It's just basic,
That's true.
It's mid, but not mid can.
Oh no. I mean, I obviously will bump him up a notch just for it being Skaven and having a name. But like inversely, if it didn't have a name and it was Skaven, I would get more angry about it, just to be clear. Anyway, so it is the Virulent Procession, which is very similar to the Seraphon ability where you can pile in and do mortal wounds. Now, because this is before the FAQ and before the Skaven book, where it got an update, now in the book you have to be in combat to pile in. So before they could plop down at the end, be outside of 9, and then pile in, or wait, is it outside of 9? I can't remember. Oh no, it's outside of 9. Anyway, before it would allow them to go on to objectives and do all sorts of shenanigans. And the new book you can't. But Keegan is basically taking advantage of that, which is very smart. So he has the Virulent Procession just to do that. He's got Prayer Lore, Noxious Prayers, of course, Manifestation Lore, Primal Energy. Which one's that again? Is that the one with the cogs and stuff?
No, Primal Energy is Ravenax, Life Swarm, and
Right.
Burning Head.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I can see that. He's got Thankful on Bone Ripper, Double Caster, +1 to cast. Just a solid choice. Reinforced Rat Ogres. Good hammer. Very, very squishy. Warplock Jezzails, Reinforce, which is probably going to be his, General's Regiment most of the time. They're just like, they're like the reason that Jezzails were so playable until the new book and until this new FAQ was because of the General's Regiment giving them +1 to hit and wound. Now I don't know. I'm not sure that I'm taking Jezzails. I'm still kind of working that out. And then he's got a Verminlord Deceiver with the Foul Hide for healing, Scurry Away. So the Verminlord's going to basically go in and it's going to try and hit the 4-up to teleport into possibly away or just position itself again. And then if it doesn't get that and it charges into something it doesn't want to be in combat with, it rolls a 3-up and it just leaves. And then conversely, of course, when you charge it, it has the ability to get out of there as well. It's just like it's got a lot of attacks, very low damage attacks. So its output is actually lower than like even the Master Clan because of the low damage, but very high rend and a very good profile. So yeah, it's just a solid hammer, good at flanking and attacking stuff, and I wouldn't put it into something like Trolls, which it basically won't do anything to. But yeah, anyway, Regiment 2 is a Grey Seer with 3 units of Plague Monks. It's interesting. Like obviously the Plague Pack doesn't exist in this particular version of Skaven, so there's no access to the smaller. Wait, there is no. He has no ability to do prayers. Actually, I just noticed that. Huh. Well, anyway, I mean, you might as well pick it, I suppose, because it's on there. Yeah, but no, it just looks like a solid list overall. Expect a lot of shenanigans, especially with bringing back monks. They're pretty hitty for their points, and yeah, it looks good. Yeah, not too much to say. The interesting thing too is that it's 1930 points, so because there's nothing in Skaven that's even close to to 70 points. So extra command point, but yeah.
I kind of like that the Deceiver has the scurry away as well, just so that you have multiple ways to get into combat with them.
Otherwise, 4-up is just not reliable. Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, the ability to, you roll the 4-up, you teleport away, or if you can't do that, you do the 3-up retreat. Like there's just so many ways that you can leave. It's pretty nice.
It is really good in that. It's true. I don't think he's worth 410 points, but maybe I just wasn't quite using him well enough, but yeah, I mean, he's quite defensive with those things. Like I don't think you could ever take the Deceiver unless you have at least scurry away on him. But the nice thing too is that he doesn't really need the Warpstone Charm because his rend is like -3 already, so you just don't need it. So you just take the healing. I quite like that aspect of it, but yeah. Best of luck to Keegan Mechrat in the chat. He has a channel. Subscribe. Moving right along. Okay. So should we do one more list and then go through the list, the different Ulgu names?
Let's do it.
Okay. So last one. Hope it's something good. It's going to be another LRL, isn't it? It's fine if it is. James West. Woo! I love that.
Actually, Beast Chaos.
Nice. Okay. Wow. Man, people are really just trying to squeeze every little bit out of this army. I don't blame them. That's what I'd be doing if it were Skaven.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, okay. So Warpstone Enjoyer says the Gnawhole command lets you drop outside of 3 inches. Okay, that's what I thought. Okay, but I was just like, that doesn't. Anyway, thank you for the clarification. Right. Cool. Sorry. Marauding Brayherd. Have we seen this before?
This list is very similar to what we've been looking at already, which is just like 80 Bestigors, some Bray Shamans, the Bray Blessed Trumpet for some recursion, Death Grip for the
yeah, this is like pretty much everything that we've seen, huh?
It's almost the exact same, actually. Do we want to just like roll another one, actually?
Sure. Yeah. No offense to James, if he's been you first, we would have. Yeah, exactly. Oh, and I forget what I was going to say, but I'll spin the wheel. Just that. Yeah, I don't really play Pestilence. I'm getting more into them now with, I really like the new Warband, but I was never kind of a nerdly kind of guy. Dom Elson, Azir.
Oh, Dom.
Oh, yeah.
Chat Dom.
Remove.
Slaves to Darkness. Dom. You didn't name your list, buddy. Didn't understand the assignment.
Yep. Automatic, unfortunately.
You're out of here.
Yeah.
You are out of here. Also, this is also the exact same as another list we've already seen too.
Okay.
Generally, the Slaves to Darkness lists tend to be like lots of Erengard, Be'lakor, some Knights, and then that's about it. And then some people bring Chosen too,
And
but
Furies.
and Furies, yeah.
Yeah. I think we've seen Furies in every single one of the lists. Okay. We're going to try this one more time. Or maybe we should go to the names and then, you know what I mean? And then if we have time.
We'll do one more.
Okay. Hish Ted Adams.
Ted Adams.
Uh,
Ossiarch Bone Reapers. Okay, that's a new one.
Thank you.
Perfect.
That's awesome. That's really great.
However, the list name is just Ted Adams.
God dang it, Ted. I mean, that's okay. That's fine. We've got Team Ulgu to cover us for fun list names, hopefully. But I was actually just thinking about OBR today because Braden was saying that he was in a tournament, you know, and I haven't really looked at them in all of AoS 4. I don't really know how different it is. So I was just wondering about their relative strength and whatnot. So, you know, yeah. And if Braden, if you're watching this in the future, let us know what you think of this list.
Yeah, absolutely. OBR has like a couple different builds, which are all kind of interesting. Okay. My dog hates them apparently. This one that we're looking at is
why? Because they're bones, and she can't have bones.
Yep. That's true. Can't argue with that.
Yep.
This list is kind of leaning into like the KDR side of things, obviously. So you've got the Cavalos Lance, which each of the Cavalos Death Riders units, or any of the cavalry units actually, up to 3 of them at the start of the game can just move 6 inches. So you get like a deployment phase move, which is kind of neat. What?
Sorry, your dog walked past. I'm sorry, everyone. I'm derailing this whole thing.
Was
your
she
dog,
in the background?
She walked past, and there was something about the way she was walking. It was just like, I did my job. I don't know. It was something about it. I imagined the whole scenario, and I'm sorry. Yes, I've derailed this entire thing. And I was also thinking about my dog too, because like sometimes like he gets a bone underneath a recliner in our room, and then he can't get to it. You know what I mean? Because he's gigantic. And so then today I actually pulled the recliner back, and my mom like went looking underneath the chair, and there was nothing in there. And so I don't know what he was on about, but sorry. Okay. Back to Bone Reapers. Much more important. As you were saying.
Yeah. So this list, he's running Catacross. He's got some Immortus Guard just to be giving that extra ward. The Liege Cavalos has the Aura of Sterility, which is -1 to wound against shooting attacks in a big bubble. What?
No, it's just a weird name.
Okay, gotcha.
Sterility.
Then the Load of Saturation, I believe, is adding 1 to his ward rolls, if I'm not mistaken. So he's going to be super, super tough.
Wow.
Which I think the Immortus Guard are also doing that, so he's probably going to be on a 4-up ward.
Wow.
Which is pretty solid. Where everyone is going to be
like last edition, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Then what else? He's got Vok Mortion, which has that kind of fancy like quasi Be'lakor ability. It's pretty short range though, which is a little rough. Catacross has got that, big ability for, I think it's +1 to save now only. And then also he can be using the special OBR abilities like Holy Within 18 of him instead of just 12, which is pretty nice. So yeah, it just seems like a solid list. It's going to be really tough. Relatively anti-shooting just because it's got some speed from the Death Riders, which can get into shooting units pretty easily, as well as the Aura of Sterility for that -1 to wound. So
good for tactics too.
Yeah.
This is pretty cool.
Yeah, just a solid castle army.
Yeah.
Nice. Or not even really castle because the Death Riders are going so fast.
That's true.
Not castle at all, actually.
You can kind of, well, you could probably do both, because like the Immortus Guard rather are fairly tanky, and they're helping out in that department. The Liege Cavalos can go in the same detachment as Catacross, hey?
Yep.
Must be nice.
Neat.
Must be nice. Okay. Now, look solved format. I'm not sure. Anyway. Okay. So now we're going over to, I'm just going to type in Ulgu.
Yep.
Now we've seen. Okay, we'll just go down the list. I don't think we've seen Christopher. Oh wait, did we see Christopher Grops?
We did. That was Field Trip for the Grandkids. Yeah.
Right. That was good. That was very good.
We've also seen Cody Sauls, which was Wolf Jail, which was also quite good.
Yeah, we both gave that a 5-0 in our hearts.
Yeah, perfect. Great name.
Fred Schmidt. Did we see?
Yeah, we haven't seen that one yet.
We have not.
We have not.
Okay, just want to make sure. God damn it. It's so silly. It's perfect for us. Like
Fred's creative special zine list. Don't steal. Don't.
Oh man.
Also, I think, if I'm not mistaken, there's layers to this, because I think this is at least very similar to Caleb Walters' list.
Oh,
that he took from Nova.
That's funny. That adds an extra layer to it too.
Especially what he's saying in chat. Definitely didn't steal my list from someone. Yeah.
Oh, there you go. That's even funnier. Even funnier. God dang it. That's so good. It's like he made this for us. You know what I mean?
I'll give that a 5.
I'm not saying he didn't. Yeah, it's got to be a 5-0. Yeah, that's a solid 5-0. 5-0 in our hearts. Okay. We're off to a great start. A little violent. I knocked over my water bottle. Okay, so Jacob Berry, Gloomspike gets. What do we got? Obligatory Gavin copy pasta. Okay.
Solid. This is Gavin and Gregar's list from Old Town Throwdown, I think. So
Fair.
That's probably what that's referencing.
Probably. He understands the assignment.
He does. I'll give it a trash panda. Mid dumpster, mid bin.
Mid bin. Obligatory Gavin copy pasta. I'm gonna give that a lower. I usually go a little higher than you, but it doesn't have like a wow factor. It's like he made the cut though, you know? Yeah.
Yeah.
I see some garbage juice around it.
You know?
Yeah. He can do better. I believe in him. I don't know him, but I believe in him. Okay.
He says he actually edited it to be obsquigatory Gavin.
Oh, wait, but that's not what it was, right?
No. Doesn't matter, Jacob.
Oh, sorry,
What's
buddy.
in here? Yeah.
Yeah. If it was obsquigatory, that would have been like upper can. Actually,
Agreed.
Like, what a difference that one little bit can make.
And we've seen Noah's. It was the best of Gores. It was the worst of Gores, which I think is my current favorite.
That's my favorite for sure.
Yeah. Mackenzie, we've seen.
What was Mackenzie's? Just to review it again.
He changed it.
Fight in the Shade. That was good.
Yeah, Fight in the Shade. But he changed it to Rock You Like a Huracan. But we're assuming it's Fight in the Shade. It's the original list.
I like them both, to be honest. Yeah. If he has a Bluetooth speaker, you know, playing Rock You Like a Hurricane in the background.
And then he just interrupts the song to say "con" at the end of whatever they say.
I record over top of it. God damn. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. That would be easy.
That would 5-0. That would 5-0 for sure.
Okay, Mike McCabe. Now this is pottery. God dang it. Oh man. Yeah, like, is it wrong if I cheer for these people over your team now because you don't have names?
No, that's okay. I understand.
Okay. As long as you understand. Yeah, this is awesome. I'm sorry. This is another 5-0 for me. Like, this is a 5-0. Yeah. Oh man. You need to capitalize it though, because it's a name. But
no, it's a sentence. It's a quote from.
I think you still capitalize. At least pod racing. I think.
All right.
Actually, no, it's a title. Yeah, you definitely do that. But I mean, like, maybe include the quotes. We're getting a little too granular with this. I'm just saying that's how I feel. I'm saying it's a 5-0. It's a 5-0. I should have ended it there, right? I should have just said it's a 5-0. Yeah. Okay. And last, that one actually really got me. Walter Brock, the Dojo, Aussie Arc Bone Reapers, 2 ponies and a Catacross walk into a bar. these names are so silly. Oh man, I'm gonna let you go first this time.
I like it. I don't think I like it as much as you do, but I'm going to say mid-bin for this one for me.
Yeah. Yeah, for me, it's upper bin.
I feel like this is our new system instead of this whole like 5.0 is definitely the peak, but I like this whole like lower bin, mid bin, upper bin system.
Well, and there's like a 5, it does become a 5-tiered system at that point. It's kind of like what like spill.com where they were like matinee, full price, rental, and that's like our bin system. And then you can kind of go outside of that, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, the wins for the Ulgu team has the naming win victory already sealed. Yeah, upper bin for me for this one. 2 ponies and a Catacross walk into a bar rather. It's very silly. I like it, you know? It's very of our style. And okay, and I'm just going to leave up at the end here. I'm going to leave up it was the best of Gores, it was the worst of Gores.
Captured our hearts.
It captured, yeah, in a
Our
way
first
that
love.
Yeah, exactly. You never forget your first love naming list. This name. That made sense. Anyway, thank you so much for everyone for joining us this week. We don't have a battle report this week. We are hoping to do one next week. And next week, what are we doing? We don't know for the show yet, do we?
I don't think it's set in stone yet. No.
Okay.
Maybe talking about the results of this a little bit, and then maybe, yeah.
Or it might just be our silly nonsense, which we, something to paint along to.
Yeah.
Hope everyone got something painted. If you made it this far, we really appreciate you. Maybe don't. I'm so done. I'm just like my brain is mush. If you did enjoy the show, please consider giving us a subscription and or a like, etc. It helps other people find the show, helps people find silliness to paint to. We really appreciate y'all. Anything to say before we head out, Carson?
I just want to congratulate our clubmate Alex Butler for
I can't believe I
4-1ing
forgot.
with his very unorthodox Eels list at Sparkle Party this weekend. But other than that, I can't wait to see all the people that I've been talking to online for a very long time in person in Boston. Please do come say hi. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
About Alex, I actually asked him to come on and he couldn't make it tonight, but we'll hopefully have him on again so I can torture him and not just the other way around. Awesome. Thank you, Daniel. We'll check that out. Yeah. Thanks everyone for watching and we'll see you guys next week. Bye-bye.